Smurf, this is cold. But I see the Duke in the chat. What's up?
The Duke.
The Duke.
Yeah, I understand that there's some where the white women at, like Duke in it, but a lot.
Shout out to Duke from the UK, bro.
Yep.
Shout out to you, brother.
I follow the facts first and foremost. Tell that to your mother, man. We don't play around on this panel.
Why is it immigrants are not stopping reparations?
My ancestors come from the Caribbean, and there were slaves in the Caribbean, and we
didn't qualify for the American reparations.
Well, here's the challenge: there are so many difficulties with trying to enact reparations, in part because the question is who gets them. Potentially, I could fall into that category. I honestly have called a pipe dream in the past, and I think that's what it is.
Well, it would be nice if there was an elegant, simple solution to all sorts of complicated problems. You're not actually talking about how to fix those problems if you're only talking about reparations. If we're only debating how we're going to parcel out responsibility for something that happened more than a century ago. And we're probably never going to do this. It's not clear to me why we're pursuing this thing.
Is it fair that there's no reparations, no restitution, nothing?
Should the Irish get reparations, by the way? Irish need not apply signs when they came here during the Progressive era. Sure. I mean, how far do we want to take this down? Are we acknowledging that there are ugly spots in history? Because 60% of the world would be entitled to slave reparations if you wanted to play that game.
Well, here's a fact. Slavery ended 154 years ago. It's been a long, long time since we had slavery in this country. And you have people like my family. I'm black, but my family came to the United States in 1962. My parents are from Costa Rica. Do I get a check?
I did a couple of essay contests that I actually won. And I won like NAACP Act Sowell Award for this essay and something else. I can't remember another, like I ended up winning money. And the essay was, do you think black people should get reparations? And I was like, no, you didn't work for it.
Why are you so against reparations?
Valerie, it's a matter of a waste of time. We've got so much to do. And yet you have people who invest so much energy and attention on what I consider to be a dead-end idea, a dead-end movement.
If we were to pay reparations today, we would only divide the country further. We would insult many black Americans by putting a price on the suffering of their ancestors.
Once we take over, we take over.
What's good? What's good? What's happening? Hello, everyone. This is the Duke back again on a live stream. Had to cook. Okay, you know how I've been feeling for the last few weeks now. I've bit my tongue. I've posted a few videos, few streams discussing this topic, and some of you, are ready to hear it out. But I'm not just doing it out of just for attention. If you guys have searched online or seen what's going on right now, a guy like Tariq Nasheed, very influential guy in the American community, African American community, he's been spreading this ideology that the foreign blacks or just everyone that isn't African American FBA is out to get them. We are the enemy. And the way I see it is just another tactic to scapegoat your way into more donations. It went from white supremacy to now tethers, whatever that means. Tariq wants to keep his fellow tribesmen, because this is tribalism, he wants to keep FBAs buck broken and lost. Now, I got the phrase buck broken from him. He one of his latest documentary is called Buck Broken, describing the black man in America and the history behind how they were sodomized by the slave master. And there's this system that the concept is to engineer black men to be more effeminate and gay and all this, and a lot of black people were insulted by it, especially from the LGBT community and so on. Okay, so I have a few people tuning in. Hey, what's up, Rain G? Leave America. I'm not in America, number one, thank God. Thank God. Number two, I'm only discussing this because your boy Tariq Nasheed, because you came on this video seeing your boy Tariq Nasheed, clickbait, right? Discussing Black Brits. So as long as he has our names in his mouth, I'm willing to speak out. Most of my king folk, my country folk, aren't involved in all this. They don't really care. They live their lives, you see. We don't whine and complain about nothing. But just today, Tariq posted a clip from his live stream discussing how Black Brits are taking over the roles in Hollywood and blaming Idris Elba for, pretending like it didn't mean anything. We're all black and all this, right? For some reason, it's a problem. Well, guess what? I don't care. It's not about defending what Black Brits do in America. Let them take your roles. So what? That's called competition. What are you afraid of? You're afraid of a little bit of competition? You want to complain? Tariq wants to make cry babies out of men and women, black men in specific. You can't sit around and complain about Hollywood roles. What does that have to do with you? as an individual. That's the Hollywood scene. So I'm started off I started off a bit heated. I don't know what's going on in people's minds these days, but I'm ready to have that conversation with people. I just find it so easy, like for someone who observed from the outside all these years, understanding racial politics in America and in the West in general, because we have it in Canada. Yeah, Tariq and his buddies will call it, white supremacy is a global system. So if it's a global system, I can discuss it based on me living in Europe, but I'm not allowed to call myself black, apparently. I thought it was a global system. Y'all need to make up your minds. Rain G says, good question. Why don't Black Brits focus on Black Brit Hollywood? Yeah, we do. We're doing very well when it comes to TV shows in the UK. And to be honest with you, a lot of TV shows like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings at the moment is doing well. A lot of shows that have British actors now have more Black British actors. So yeah, we dominate there, but now we're coming over to dominate your asses as well. What are you gonna do about it? Your directors are taking us. Even black directors are taking British actors. Ask them. FBA directors, Jordan Peele. What's his name? Spike Lee. They're the ones picking British actors. Complain to them. British blacks travel all the way to Hollywood. They audition like everyone else. And you folks pick them. It's not by force. We didn't beg for reparations. We didn't beg for representation. Your black directors keep picking us. Am I meant to whine and complain? Don't cry, don't beg. Don't take it with us. Take it with them. But Tariq wants you to make a habit of whining and complaining, not going to the root of it all. Hello? Doesn't it make sense? Or did we all finish high school? I know there's a lot of high school dropouts in America, but let's stay focused. Rangy says, so why play ADOS Ross? Because we want to, because a lot of black British actors can do whatever they can. That's range. I would like to see some African Americans, attempt to act British roles. Go ahead. One attempt to Denzel Washington. Guess what? Denzel Washington played the British role. No one complained, but we laughed at his accent. But he did well. He did okay in that UK film he played in the 90s. Was it 90s or 2000? I think it was 1998. The film came out. Denzel Washington played the British role. No one complained. We were grateful. Yeah, that's good for you, bro. But I don't think you guys have as many opportunities to even try that. Because guess what? You guys don't even travel. Black Brits, black people in Europe in general are like what you guys call passport bros. All this trend in passport bros. Guess what? Black people outside of America travel more than you. Travel more than you. The great Thomas Sowell, FBA scholar and economist, dictated an understanding that the migrants of each nation tend to be the most innovative, most entrepreneurial groups in society, in the world, because if you're willing to travel and you have the skills to apply it into another nation, then you can, and that makes you more of a competition than your kinfolk back home. So this title, there are two types of FBAs: FBAs that travel and FBAs that don't, or are banned from traveling, like Tariq Nasheed. The reason why I explained last week, Tariq Nasheed was banned from Britain after, I think, his second or third visit to the UK. And the government believed he was insinuating, racial stigmas, or just a lot of political commentators are banned from a lot of these Western countries like Australia, Canada, because they don't want an attempt to spread an ideology overseas. And that's fine. That's their prerogative. The British government wasn't willing to open it for Tariq then. But then I noticed right after he was banned back in 2014, this rhetoric began. He first targeted black British people. Explain to me why. That's why I'm speaking out. Then he started with the Tevas and the foreign blacks, the West Africans, the East Africans, blaming them for all this racism. Everyone's victimized and broken FBAs. We're all indebted to the FBAs. Tariq wants you to wave the flag of weakness, the white flag. I'm gonna make a stream, a clip on this at least every week if I can, to get it out there. Because every time I listen to a debate with Tariq, it seems as if no one is really prepared for this conversation because we haven't really had it, and not everyone's bold enough to insult other people. I'm willing to. I have the time. I can make the time. So if there's a necessity to speak on this, I'm willing to insult you if there's a need be. But then what comes with it is education. Tariq can roast, other people can roast, but when it comes to the education behind it, some people deserve some correction. So what do we have here? What's the topic of this conversation? Yeah, if you can rewind back, I've explained it, but I'll just for you one more time. This title alone, 2 types of FBAs, foundational Black Americans. Those that travel and those that don't, those that can't, and those who are banned from traveling to certain countries like Tariq. There's a real reason why he is creating this movement, this concept that foreign Black people are the enemy. You have to acknowledge why there's this diaspora on social media. We've had this for a while. You've heard of passport bros. You've heard of, travel Black men, travel Black women, people who are connecting with other Black people in Western countries, Canada, America, the UK, Australia. Why? In order to ensure that, hey, when you come here, this is what to expect. You search, how is racism there? How is dating in Europe? How is dating in Australia? Because you want to know, how do Black people experience life there? That's what we've been doing for decades, connecting with each other. Yeah, a Black American will discuss with a Black British person. What would I expect if I traveled there? A lot of Black Americans traveling to Africa with the skills, with the business ideas, and they're flourishing. Even Tariq would admit it. A lot of African Americans who've moved to Ghana, Angola, South Africa, they're treated even better than their own people. Because number one, being American is a status thing. Westerner, for example, when I travel to West Africa, it's the same thing. There's a standard there. Black people that travel have an advantage. Black people that connect with internationals when they travel, other Black internationals, have an advantage. You don't just walk around alone. Guess what? Compared to other groups, FBAs don't have enough of their own ethnic group in each country. Like, for example, myself, I'm a Nigerian British person. I know I can find Nigerians in America, Nigerians in Canada, Nigerians in Australia, Nigerians wherever I go. I like a community. Chinese people have that with Chinatown, Koreans with Koreatown, in each continent, each nation. But African Americans did not. Hope you guys can hear me. 1 second, just double checking with my audio. Golly. 1 2 3 testing. 1 2 3 testing. Okay. African Americans did not have that same experience. You don't have large groups of FBAs living in Europe or in Africa, or like in the same way other Black people in the diaspora have it, because you're more likely to be in America versus maybe you exist in the military or some type of business venture between other Americans. But having the Black community outside of America, you had to rely on the Black internationals. Majority of Black internationals respect FBAs. Why? Because we relate, we understand, and we resonate with the experience of the Black American, the history behind it, all together. And you know that Tariq knows that. He made a whole docu-series on it. What, 5 different documentaries based on the global black presence? And for some reason, now he's curbed his idea of being black down to the United States. Very interesting when it's convenient for you. Right after you were banned from certain countries in Europe. That is now the time and moment to create the new scapegoat. Moving from the white supremacist to your own kind on this planet. It makes sense. Money needs to be made. Content needs to be created. So yeah, target us for sure. But you know what? It's not about defending who I am as a Teva, apparently, or a non-FBA or an African. It's an insult now to be called an African. You know, you're now indigenous, you're now native to America. That's fine. That's cool. What does that mean? Every time you speak on us, just focus on yourselves then. It's not important anymore. I thought FBA was just an identity. Oh, now we're double agents. I posted a video earlier on. I might do it again. You know how they're exposing black immigrants who don't have an FBA lineage of, you know, colluding with the white supremacists to prevent FBAs from thriving. All of a sudden, this small minority of people. Small minority. I would like to even search up if anyone could tell me, because I remember reading somewhere there's about, like, out of all the African Americans, all the 45 million African Americans who identify as African American in the States, only about 2% or less are non-FBA, are black immigrants, you know, African American citizens who aren't FBA make up about 2 to 3% of your population. Yet we, for some reason, not me, those who are raised in America or live in America, are your new enemy, are your detractors, and they're blocking your opportunities to claim your reparations. Interesting. That's none of my business. I don't live in America. Why should it matter? But guess what? Tariq makes a habit of discussing the black people who don't even live in America, still targeting us, targeting black people in Europe, black people in Canada. We are all problems to you. We're all tethers to you, the enemy. Black British people, he just posted one today discussing how men like Idris Elba are destroying your opportunities in Hollywood. Since when was Hollywood the main employer of all black Americans in the States? It doesn't make sense. You have to make sense of it. If anyone is willing to, I am going to share the panel invite. So if you do want to debate me and make your point, then the floor is yours. About to post it 1 second. But if you would like to leave a question underneath, do so. Right. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for tuning in. But yeah, you guys know I'm not making this up. It is entertainment. It is entertainment for real. All right, here we go. I'm gonna pin that up. Replace pin. So if you're willing to have that open panel discussion, we will. But overall, you know I'm not wrong. Now, with this film that Tariq dropped, I think 2 years ago, but Broken, I haven't watched it. I do plan on finding time to watch this excruciating documentary on how black men are the biggest, target in America. Understandably, that's how he sees it. But in a way, it took a very LGBT direction, as I've heard, and how black men are being emasculated. And I'm just like, whoa, where are we going with this narrative? After 7 different docuseries, Tariq is delving even deeper into how weak and useless black men are. Is this something to praise and promote? I don't understand the cards that are being played. This sort of global white supremacy, it's taking an approach where we can't save ourselves as black people in the world, black men. You can't be emasculated as a man unless you allow it, right? So when we talk about how black men in media are being portrayed in so and so way, well, guess what? That man was paid and he chose that role. And whatever you like to say about it, there is always a price, right? And since Hollywood is ran by the WSs of the world, I'm going to speak in code for now. The WSs of the world, does that define that the employers that take you up on your roles in Hollywood, on TV, are promoting emasculated black men, or black men are choosing to portray themselves in dresses? But in a weird way, I've seen it in different, I've seen white people, Asian people men dress effeminately. Harry Styles, the most famous one. It's never been dawned in my mind that why is the focus black men, and why did Tariq make it such a big deal? So yeah, I used the cover for this thumbnail, Butt Broken and Lost, because in a way, after you think about it, it's kind of how he wants to be depicted. The FBA are the ultimate victims. And I've always thought, African Americans have a very strong history, overcame so much, and look how successful of an industry they've created. Hip hop, for example. The argument now is that Italians, Hispanics, Latinos, right, also created hip hop, or the originators of hip hop. Now I don't even care about defending it. It's none of my business, because for a long time, maybe for decades, some of you who are even American know we've always defended the African American culture outside of America, regardless. Like, it's like appreciation of the culture that America created, right? But at this point, they're telling us that we are the enemy with tethers. There's no point in defending them at all outside of the States. We were the ambassadors of like promoting hip hop or African American culture outside the States, right? But now they don't even want your alliance or support. They want to blame you for issues. So if Italians tell me that they were the originators of hip hop, I'm going to accept it now. I'm going to accept it, because you don't need support from me no more. I'm going to accept it. But yes, indeed, I'm going to put one more media on this. This is what I heard. You will not believe your eyes, guys. You will not believe what you're about to hear from this episode I heard from Tariq's. 1 second. From Tariq's show. The audacity of it all. The audacity. He said Idris Elba annoyed by debate between black Brits taking So yeah, I'm going to play a snippet of his show to discuss this real quick. And please, if you are willing to debate or discuss this issue, I'm smacking my lips like Tariq does. Issue, or this conversation, this debate, this topic, then do so. Click the link on the chat. It's for the open panel. But here we go. We got Idris Elba. And this is Tariq's commentary, interviewing other people on this.
Black American group this week about how Nigeria is banning other black women from being put in their ads, because they want to concentrate on more Nigerian women being in the forefront on their ads. So they're actually about to ban other black women, and I'm gonna assume black American women, from being in their ads. And that I'm
Oh, just assume you're being targeted. So news last week they discovered that the Nigerian, I believe, government enlisted like a policy in which domestic commercial companies should be prioritized on versus the international space, right? Marketing should have mostly Nigerian or only Nigerian actors or Nigerian models to represent the Nigerian people. Because for a long time, they would have been using Western faces. The idea that is the focus is on Black American. Only Black American will think everything is about them. For those of you who don't, it's not applying to you, but someone like Tariq and his followers, they all believe that if anything is to do with them, or is always going to link back to them. Nigerians did not ban commercial companies from specifically allowing African American models on their posters. They banned international companies. They wanted their domestic, local, commercial companies to thrive more. Okay? Like a lot of countries do similar things, like you have to have a tariff or an extra charge if foreign marketing companies want to promote their content in here. Usually, if a product is being marketed in a country, they might use their own, right? But then they're saying if you want to, let's say, promote Fanta or Coke with a certain model, make sure it's a Nigerian model. So the posters, the images can reflect the people of the country. It's not because they don't want Black Americans to benefit from anything. But no, expect Tariq Nasheed and his followers to believe everything is about stopping them, blocking them from thriving.
Right. Thank you, beloved. Yeah, there's a story going around. This is how the story is being spun. They're saying that Nigerian firms are banning white women from being in their ads. That's all cap. I don't believe that at all.
See? You can see I'm not making this stuff up. This is Tariq. This is Tariq. Even if someone could listen to Tariq's show front and back and not think nothing much of it. But when you know what he's doing, it's almost it's a level of indoctrination. It can be very dangerous, especially for people who aren't very well informed, who aren't well traveled, yeah, and who don't even interact with other people outside their community. So it's very easy to convince yourself that Africans are the enemy because they banned international commercials from promoting models without Nigerians. Yet Tariq made it about him and made it about FBAs out of nowhere. Most Nigerians don't even know what this debate is about. People are starving. There's relentless poverty in West Africa. And you want to focus on the banning of international commercials in a country, a third world country like Nigeria. The audacity, Tariq Nasheed. Continue to create your scapegoat enemies. That's what you want? Continue. Your people are slow, so obviously you can get away with it. Tariq knows he can get away with it because the people that listen to him are very slow-minded.
Created by FBAs and everybody else is just trying to claim credit.
Yes, Cindy. Thank you so much, sir. Let's get Heat Rider in here. Let's get Heat Rider. Heat Rider. Let's get him in here. All right. Heat Rider. Where you at, man? Let's get Bradley while we're waiting on Heat Rider. What's up, Bradley? All right, Bradley. Turn your microphone on.
Hey, what's up, Tariq? Shout out to Dougie Fresh was born in Barbados. So now they say, okay, this is Caribbean culture, but it
So now there's an attack on the music industry and how a lot of Caribbeans can claim influence in the early days in hip hop during the 80s and 90s, but Tariq Nasheed and his minions believe that no one should claim besides FBA. And what's funny is there's so many Caribbeans who have done so much within the African American community that you cannot just write off people. Like Marcus Garvey came from Jamaica. Malcolm X is half Grenadian. Busta Rhymes is Jamaican. Jay-Z, his mother's Jamaican. Like, you can't just start picking and just dissecting your claims. Like, what's wrong with you people? The obsession is insane. And I'm sorry, you guys are going to look back at this moment, at this time, and reflect, like, what was I thinking? Why am I making other people the enemy? It's dangerous, but it's dangerous to the people involved. I have nothing to do
It wasn't his culture that he was working within. He just happened to be Barbados, and shout out to Barbados, shout out to the Barbados family.
It just happened. They just happened to be Barbadian. They just happened to be Bayesian. Yeah. So what if Malcolm X is half Grenadian? You pick and choose. You can't pick and choose who you want to claim and you don't want to claim. You can't play that game. You can't claim Obama, like I said last week. You can't claim Kamala. You can't claim a lot of people. Sometimes I have to look for all the Black American figures and see, do they have any lineage outside of America? Because I know someone like Tariq would pick it out. Thank God someone like Thomas Sowell, a guy I'm going to discuss more in detail very soon. A man like Thomas Sowell has roots in African American lineage. As far back as antebellum slavery, he has no roots to anywhere outside of America. So no one can touch him and say he's non-FBA. That's why he speaks the way he does. It's sad. It's so sad, but it's not detrimental to people who live outside. We're still doing what we need to do. We travel. We have opportunities outside. Yeah. I've heard the point that FBAs don't have anywhere else to go. Well, you're in a very great country. You can make the most out of it. Don't complain when migrants come and compete with you. They can go to another country if you tell them to leave. Whether you work and collaborate with us so you can travel and you can see the world, it helps to have friends. It helps to have connections, to trade, to experience, or you can ostracize yourself from the rest of the world. You're no different than the North Koreans. FBA America, can you travel? Can you visit? Can you move? If you can't, you're powerless. You are powerless. I'll stay on for a bit though. Seems we have a inactive Saturday evening. That's fine.
But it's like when you try to attach onto our culture, and we're really good with giving people props for their culture. Like, I'm at the Caribbean restaurant. I'm going to eat the curry goat. That's not my culture. My father looks at me crazy for eating oxtail because that's not, we come from Burnt Corn, Alabama in the 30s, came up north. Yeah. So we don't have a problem with showing love, but trying to take what's ours, it really hurts them, because this conversation about hip hop now got us digging into the roots of reggae and ska, and lo and behold, FBA, we could really claim that, and we're not even really pushing that line. We're just saying, hey, look, it's because that's really not important for us. It's almost it's like with Afro beats. Fella came over here, he got inspired. He's like, I'm going to go back and kind of do this kind of mix. I'm going to take what I learned from y'all. And our thing is like, right on, do that. You know what I mean? That's dope. Yes, Jamaican culture, they had no music industry. So all they had was imported Black music from America. And then they started with the dub plates just copying our music to the point where Jamaicans was like, yo, y'all got to just stop biting. So it can't be Caribbean because hip hop is anti-biting. That's the first rule. So if it was Caribbean culture, they would be like, yo, let's just keep copying. Let's just keep biting, So that's not our culture. But when they got their weight up, here they come with some reggae. Here they come with some stuff that we could rock with. And we got no problem tipping our hat. I was in the Jamaican club, so, it's like they just need to stand on what they standing on and, just leave it alone, because the more we.
Yeah, let me land your plane because I got to get these other calls. Thank you.
Yeah, I would somewhat agree with you, Lady A. Tariq has done a lot of good, but this divisiveness is annoying. It is annoying. It's not even just annoying. It's it will probably get exhausting for FBAs if the focus is always on how to target and blame your problems on people who aren't FBA because they're black and they're like the boogeyman. We're the new boogeyman for the community now, which is very interesting to observe. But I don't think it bothers me too much, but it should bother people who claim the FBA identity, which is an identity, and it shouldn't be seen as anything outside an identity, not a movement. But Tariq is creating this divisiveness to conjure up more content, more of a reason to, complain. Complain. Like if you look at I'm going to click on his channel now. Like the last maybe few months, like half of his videos are based on blaming other black people for your issues. Cultural erasure affects reparations, cultural ethnocide, that's targeting us. Did Italians help create hip hop? Maybe with their money. Idris Elba, Black British. This one, non-FBA teachers with contempt for FBA students, whatever that means. Is Pan-Africanism dead? I mean, when we talk about what good he's done for the community, you can rewrite that literally from this type of narrative. Like he was the guy who would travel to different countries and attend so and so. I think because he was banned from certain European countries, when he applies for visas, I think they scrutinize why were you barred from certain countries. So I think someone like Tariq isn't able to travel to other countries anymore. He would travel to Africa, parts of Africa, the Caribbean, black communities in South America, South Asia for his docuseries. If you've watched the In the Colors videos, he would find communities that had a prevalent black community around the world. And now he can't do that because he's blaming these groups for their problems. So it's like there's no point in connecting with the diaspora anymore. That's not his focus anymore. But it's very interesting to come across this. But what are other people going to do about it? It's none of our business. Foreign female trolls give her opinion on FBA. And the thing is, he knows what he's doing. He would antagonize foreigners that didn't used to think like this before, like myself, and make sure to make them an example. Like, see how much they hate y'all. See how much they hate y'all. If you call them all sorts of names and say you go back to your country and you come from shithole countries, what do you expect them to say? Just say, yeah, okay. It's ridiculous. It's like you're throwing a grenade and complaining, why did it explode? That's what Tariq does these days. I just find it interesting. But I know it's a movement like this would only implode on itself if it's based on hate. Always will. Always will. It's like a proverb parable. And you say, Lady A says, I can even understand not wanting Pan-Africanism because Pan-African doesn't serve Americans. It really doesn't. But the thing is, you would notice that majority of the time, Pan-Africanism was promoted by American the most. Americans were more highly invested in this idea of Pan-Africanism. But it doesn't come down to actually taking action, right? It was never to take action, but to claim an identity. So this idea that Pan-Africanism was a thing, it was only a thing idealistically, never to actually act on it. The closest to action would be the African Union or forms of collaboration between African, and others from the diaspora doing things for themselves. So actually taking action takes on a different level. But Americans tend to just speak on it. It's just really their black identity. Probably started right after the 60s, where African Americans felt the need to claim their Africanness, like Caribbeans as well would, claim a level of like roots back to Africa. It made sense to do that, but this idea of working together was only more recent. But someone like Tariq, he's already played his part in sort of presenting that in the media, creating all these docuseries about connecting with other black people and the history behind that. But now he wants to flip all his work upside down because apparently Africans don't like African Americans. And we can delve into that very easily. Very easily. But like the clip I posted earlier, I'm gonna play that again. I want it to stick into people's minds. It's like the real scapegoating now is that black immigrants who join politics or who are commentators on social media or whatever, who happen to be non-FBAs, apparently say the opposite of what would help the FBA movement, which is to speak against reparations and to speak about accountability instead of racism. And so this idea is that the immigrant class tend to demand more individual progression rather than racial idealism. And so I'll play that one more time real quick. Then I'll play.
Why is it immigrants are not stopping reparations?
My ancestors come from the Caribbean, and there were slaves in the Caribbean, and we
didn't qualify for the American reparations.
Well, here's the challenge. There are so many difficulties with trying to enact reparations, in part because the question is who gets them. Potentially, I could fall into that category. I honestly have called a pipe dream in the past, and I think that's what it is.
Well, it would be nice if there was an elegant, simple solution to all sorts of complicated problems. You're not actually talking about how to fix those problems if you're only talking about reparations. If we're only debating how we're going to parcel out responsibility for something that happened more than a century ago. And we're probably never going to do this. It's not clear to me why we're pursuing this thing.
Is it fair that there's no reparations, no restitution, nothing?
Should the Irish get reparations, by the way? Irish need not apply signs when they came here during the progressive era. Sure. I mean, how far do we want to take this down? Are we acknowledging that there are ugly spots in history? Because 60% of the world would be entitled to slave reparations if you wanted to play that game.
Well, here's a fact. Slavery ended 154 years ago. It's been a long, long time since we had slavery in this country. And you have people like my family. I'm black, but my family came to the United States in 1962. My parents are from Costa Rica. Do I get a check?
I did a couple of essay contests that I actually won. And I won like NAACP Sowell Award for this essay and something else. I can't remember another, like I ended up winning money. And the essay was, do you think black people should get reparations? And I was like, no, you didn't work for it.
Why are you so against reparations?
Valerie, it's a matter of a waste of time. We've got so much to do. And yet you have people who invest so much energy and attention on what I consider to be a dead-end idea, a dead-end movement.
If we were to pay reparations today, we would only divide the country further. We would insult many black Americans by putting a price on the suffering of their ancestors.
Now, most of these quote-unquote black immigrant Americans are, first, second generation. They come from the Caribbean islands, most of them. They have similar history when it comes to antebellum slavery. But like I mentioned before, the immigrant class, or those who migrated at a certain time, tend to come with more of a drive to be successful. Now, those who end up being in political positions may say the opposite to what a lot of racial politicians, when I say racial politicians, those who speak on race exclusively speak on. And yeah, that could be seen as an issue. But the way the agenda Tariq is trying to create is that there's a whole system of black immigrants who think the same way, and they should be targeted. Like, Lady A says, but isn't that true though? Could you elaborate what was that based on? But yes, I'm about to play another clip of Tariq interacting with another foreign black, a non-FBA, a TEVA, and let's see how it goes.
Let's get
this is probably after he's insulted her or just people in general. Of course, why won't people clap back? What do you expect? And then use them as see, they hate y'all. They hate y'all. Come on. Americans. You are Americans.
Miss Djibouti. Let's get Miss Djibouti in here. What's going on, Miss Djibouti?
Hi, Mr. Tariq Nasheed. It is my first time coming into your space. You have been trending in what you call the Tedder spaces. I call it the African spaces. But anyway, I'm just enjoying my...
Now, what part of Africa are you from, ma'am?
I'm from Djibouti. Miss Djibouti from Djibouti.
There you go.
Miss Djibouti from Djibouti. Right. Lady A says that immigrant are basically sellouts. Well, is that true? I wouldn't necessarily say that, because a lot of black immigrants in America coincide, ally themselves with that movement. So it's like, where would we put our foot down? Because they would have a lot of FBAs that are quote unquote sellouts too. People are allowed to have their own opinion. This idea of being off code is somehow who's creating the rules and regulations on what's being said right and wrong. Can black Americans be conservative? Can black Americans vote non-democrat? Can black Americans be in support of law enforcement? If not, you're all considered sellouts. So it's like, okay, if a black immigrant says anything out of line, then they're a TEVA, and their agenda is to undermine the FBA. And I don't believe that's the case, because you have a lot of FBAs who think the same way, Djibouti is a place, it's a very small country right next to Somalia. It's spelled Djibouti, I believe. Yeah, it's very small, and it's more like ethnically Somali. So they look like Somali people. So let me listen to it. But you can tell she was raised in America, so
there you go.
She's not ignorant.
There you go. All right, so what's on your mind, ma'am?
I just want to know,
ma'am, can you please chill out on the injera right now? You're smacking in the back. Please, can you stop that for 1 second and talk? Go ahead, ma'am.
Baby, I said I'm from Djibouti.
Tariq just makes a habit of just like roasting in between, right? And what do you expect when you egg people on like that? They'll throw back. But Djibouti aren't Ethiopian. They don't eat injera. But nice try.
Djibouti, not from Ethiopia. Clearly, you don't know geography, baby. We don't eat injera in Djibouti. I'm not Ethiopian.
Okay. Got it.
I am an indigenous woman to my land, what you would call a foundational Black American. I come from the tribe of Isa Mamasim Araboy, and our tribal song is Hanimade Hanahaban Ilahema Mahaboyne. And that translates
is that Arabic? Is that Arabic?
No, baby. No, baby. It's not Arabic. It's ethnic, indigenous, African, native language that we're speaking. The language that you forgot and you lost, and we're going to help you find it. FBA I call it finding Black.
I don't need to find anything. I'm here where I need to be. I don't need to find Hamdinini Hamya. I don't need to find that, ma'am. I'm fine right here.
This is just a roast session.
Fine. I'm a foundational Black American. I don't need to find nothing.
I thought FBA was finding Black Africans. I thought that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to send you back home to Africa where you belong, because they stole you from me, baby. I'm your mama. Mama, nice to meet you, baby.
A troll.
Now, how can you be my mama and your belly is big with flies? I can't breastfeed off the mama with flies. What are you talking about?
How can you insult the uterus that gave birth?
Ma'am, you're not the mama. Your mama's a crack whore, if that's the case, because
and he had to mute her real quick. See, when you go on his show, there is a limit to how much you can roast. That's what you do as a host. Like, if I'm hosting the show and you go too far, you roast me too hard, I can mute and boot you off if I need to, right? But I'm peaceful enough. I'm willing to accept any insult if need be. If I'm insulting you, you can insult me back. But he's funny as hell. But like, if he wants to just play this game, then people can clap back. Let them clap back.
y'all are leaving your homelands because you're failing it, and then you're coming over here. You're not over there right now. You're not in Djibouti right now, ma'am. Turn your microphone on, dear.
Oh, I didn't know you unmuted me, baby. I didn't know I got you so triggered, honey. I'm so sorry.
Because see, this is not the immigration office where you can just come in and babble. See, there's order here. So, ma'am, how long have you been living in the U.S.? Because you're not in Djibouti right now. Ma'am, you can turn your microphone on, ma'am.
Oh, I'm allowed to speak. I'm so sorry. I didn't know I was speaking to my white colonizer. I know how much you love that white pussy. I'm so sorry, daddy. I'm so sorry, daddy. Is that what she says to you? Daddy, daddy, you like that white woman, that colonizer pussy, huh?
Abasola, ma'am, you're not on the Ethiopian host road. You're not on the dirt road.
Baby, I'm from Djibouti, not Ethiopia. Is that all you know about Africa?
Ma'am, you're not on the dirt road host road in flip-flops with high heels on them. So calm down. All right, let's try it again.
I'm convinced Tariq was one of those guys in high school that used to diss Africans so bad, calling them African booty scratcher. Look, you looked as dark as the midnight, and then complain like, "Oh, those were just roasted." Yeah, you can roast. Let them roast you back. Let them roast you back. You know what I'm saying? You get upset and triggered, and you mute them off.
Right again, ma'am. What part of the U.S. you're in? You're deflecting because you're over here right now, and you're trying to deflect. What part of the U.S. are you in?
Baby, I'm about to tether my pussy on top of your face because you're used to that white.
Ma'am, I do not want musty struggle the JJ. I don't want it. I'm sorry. Ma'am, that's some pussy I do not want. They probably gave you a forced circumcision over there, and I don't know what's going on with that thing. But ma'am, what part of the U.S.
Baby,
are
my
you?
clit is intact, just like your mama's, baby.
No,
I promise you, baby.
No, it's not. No, it's not. They gave you a forced circumcision, and then they gave you an artificial pussy. So you are a trans struggle man. So you got an artificial pussy, and now you're living as a man in Cleveland. So, ma'am, tell the truth. What part of the U.S. are you in? What part of the U.S. are you in?
Baby, I'm your next door neighbor. You forgot me.
No, okay.
I'm the one that made you that food, that soul food that you're looking for when your wife went to work.
Okay.
You forgot me, baby?
Okay.
Don't make me call your white wife into the Twitter space, you know.
Okay.
Don't make me drag her by her neck and bring her here for me, baby. I'm African, you know what I mean? We dominant like that, baby.
Those are your
baby, I'm gonna make you walk on your 4 floors and make you bark like a dog, baby, for me.
Ma'am, and I'm going to get you up out of here like a hyena if you don't get to the point. Now, Abasola, I'm going to need you to get to the point, dear.
All I can say is, when it comes to Somalis, they are top tier roast session members. Like, I went to a school in London where there were a lot of Somalis, and when it comes to roasting, they can carry the bag. Okay, so I think this is probably the first time I've heard Tariq be matched with someone. So this girl's from Djibouti. Hey, what's up, Vincent? Thanks for tuning in. If you can, I know you said you're at your work, but I'm glad you could tune in while you are multitasking on your way there.
Because now you're babbling, and we both understand that you are not in your homeland. You're somewhere in Columbus, Georgia, working at Walmart. You're a Walmart greeter with a big forehead and a name tag. So can you please let us know where you are now, ma'am?
Not the
baby,
forehead.
You talk about Homeland so much. You work for Homeland Security, baby.
Okay, now, ma'am, you're just babbling now. Okay.
Come on. You grabbed the forehead. Why can't she roast the same way? Why is he holding back? I don't get it. I thought Tariq could handle it. They're just going back and forth. I know, but like, look, you could tell Tariq set up ammunition. He's never really been Pan-African. Like, he's always felt, I guess, maybe embarrassed to be associated with the diaspora in some way, shape, or form. I have no idea what's going on, but hey, if you want to have a roast session, then accept every word being said. Like, why are you embarrassed? Why do you keep muting this girl? I don't get it.
Now you're just babbling. So since you're just babbling, I'm going to have to get you up out of here, ma'am. You got to get to the point. Now, ma'am, I'm going to let you go. I'll let you. Hold on. Now, you have any words, Fatima? Any last words, dear?
No, it's Miss Djibouti from Djibouti. We got that booty. You know what I'm saying, beauty? Yeah, don't have a...
Ma'am, the only booty you have is the booty that you had to sell in order to get that damn green card, ma'am. All right, that's the booty you had to sell. But anyway, again, this shows that anti-FBA jealousy that a lot of these people have, because she's over here. She won't admit that she's over here. We know she's over here. Miss Djibouti, we know that you're here. You had to flee. You can talk all of that Farsi, Arabic, Hindu, whatever language you're speaking, but we both know you are over here right now, and you're driving in a Toyota Celica with a lift sticker on the front, all right? And some Afro beats in the damn tape deck, because you still got a tape deck.
I'm just trying to figure out what that made that white woman pussy so special over Black America.
Ma'am, stop it. While you're playing your Afro beats in your Uber, think about helping your homeland, ma'am, all right? I need you to focus on helping your homeland. Anyway, thank you so much, dear. Let me get some more people on here. All right.
By the way, FYI, I know I've read into Djibouti in the past, and Djibouti actually are doing pretty well when it comes to international foreign investment. Djibouti is a very small nation right on top of Somalia. They have a lot of military bases from different Western and Asian countries where they're right at the Gulf of, what do you call it, the Red Sea. Was it the Black Sea? The Red Sea, in which a lot of traders, shipments go through. And so that's a very economically advantageous region of the world that Djibouti benefit from. So I don't know what Tariq was saying, but he just felt the need to generalize, which is great. That's the power of Pan-Africanism. I want to touch on Pan-Africanism real quick, because Lady A mentioned how it has been a disappointment, right? Well, the one thing I would say is that when African Americans were basically the biggest promoters of Pan-Africanism, it came with a lot of ignorance, because you could tell they were taking and nitpicking what they believe African culture meant and created their own version of it in the West and made it an ideal African identity, like picking from this culture and that culture and saying how patriarchy is from the white man and how things were different in Africa before the white man. I'm just like, where are they getting this information from? Me, that I can, trace my culture and tribe back home. There's no like reflection on how African Americans nitpick and choose, but we kind of allow them to do that, embrace whatever they want. But now it's like that ignorance has spun itself into this disdain and hate, and it's just pure unnecessary targeting of Africans. Like, they have nothing to do with you if you feel the need to insult them, call them booty scratchers. What do you expect? What do you expect? They have the one term that West Africans use to describe African Americans, akata. They were spinning it throughout social media. Can you imagine they call us akata? And look how much time they have to insult Africans. Africans aren't even flinching. It's like, okay, call us whatever you want. Call us whatever you want. We come from shithole countries. That's great. Now we're in your country, here to take your jobs, be your politicians, and take your reparations. Happy now?
All right, let me get some other people on here. So yeah, don't call up talking crazy and your ass is sitting over here. That's the thing that kills me. Y'all have a lot of contempt for foundational Black Americans, but your ass is in Brooklyn, in Ohio. You're right over here. You're never where you're supposed to be. I don't want to hear about all these different languages. Let's get Mawu. Let's get Mawu in here. Mawu, hop on Mawu. We're waiting on Mawu.
What's good, Tariq?
What's up, brother? Now, where you from, Mawu?
Right now I'm in New Jersey.
There you go. Okay. So, where are you now, Mawu?
Jersey.
Okay, where you from?
Oh, ethnically, I'm Ghanaian.
Okay, there you go.
All right. So, I actually wanted to ask you about your experience when you took that trip to Africa, and like, how was that for you?
Now, I took a couple of trips to Africa, and actually, it was actually very cool. I took a few trips to Africa, and the people there were very, very cool.
Oh, so when he was able to travel, Africans seem to be the nicest people he's ever come across. I wonder why. His claim is that they're so great in Africa, they're so great back in their home country, but when they're here, they are the enemy. They hate us. How come? I wonder why. I explained it in on my last live stream. I'll bring it up one more time, but let me just double check. Yeah, happy now? We'll take your jobs. But apparently, Africans in Africa are great, but the ones in America are not. Where did that come from? What are they exposed to for them to dislike you? There's this idea that Tariq has been circulating that before they moved to America, they're being indoctrinated and told to not deal with Akatas, to not deal with African Americans, their bad influence. And I just explained quite simply is that a lot of these migrant groups tend to move in inner city or more impoverished neighborhoods. And what are they surrounded with? They're surrounded with, lower working class, or, those who live on Section 8. I don't know what you call it, but, just the more impoverished communities, not African Americans that are doing well. So when immigrants interact with people who are more likely to be more unruly than the average African American, they have this perception of them, right? It's never really the group itself, but the ones who manifest the more negative stereotypes. We're not just getting it from the media, and stereotypes aren't based on all fiction. So let's not pretend like they're making this up. You can debate me on that if you want.
One thing I didn't, I wasn't feeling is that when we're talking about citizenship, nobody was fighting on that. Nobody was fighting that. I had a problem with that. But other than that, people were
let me address this really fast. Tariq has a way of understanding that the majority of his following aren't very literate in every situation. Now, when it comes to dual citizenship, no one can sit and say, because my ancestors were in this nation, we're just assuming one of your ancestors came from, let's say, Ghana, that I am obliged to get my nationality, my citizenship. Anyone who moves process, every other country. Africans who move to America have to go through a process like every other country. You need to apply for your green card. You need to follow the lottery run. It doesn't make sense for an African American to believe they are entitled to direct access to citizenship in that country that everyone else who enters from other African countries, a lot of Nigerians in Ghana, Kenyans in Ghana, and other internationals move to Ghana to work, and they go through a process. You have to be there for 5-6 years before you can apply. You're on a visa, then you can apply for your settlement, and then if you're good citizen, paying your taxes and following the law, then you can provide that. And apparently Tariq says that that process is too extensive. I should be entitled to full citizenship. The audacity. And that's what I believe African Americans being almost the spokespeople for Pan-Africanism is a dangerous thing. They believe that there's this sort of free for all system in which you can move to wherever you want. Me as an African, I can't just move to any African country. But he believes he has the privilege of claiming that without going through the process like everyone else. I'm sorry, you cannot claim that. Take it up with that government if you want. But they're following the procedure just like every other country. Why? To be ensured everything is safe. Whoever they're allowing into their country isn't known to have any criminal convictions. They're not running away from the wrong things. The same thing with the Africans who move to America. They have to go through a process. We don't know who you are. You have to prove yourself for a certain amount of years. Can you fund yourself in this country? You can't have droves of people just moving in with no assessment, no jurisdiction. Just walk in. You can offer it to anyone. Anyone who has studied law. I don't even have to study law to understand. When you start opening the gates to just any assumption, if I have any blood connected to Africa in some way, then you can claim direct access to citizenship. Not even people in that country can claim the same thing. There are like foreign who live in individual African nations that can't even claim the same thing that you feel you're entitled to. That's why I think it's very dangerous for certain groups to be the spokesperson for Pan-Africanism, or just the idea of working with Africans. You don't know anything about these African countries. You don't know how the governments run. You don't know how long it took for them after independence to be able to have an actual system that works. And Tariq just wants to walk in and buy land, and what does he want to do? And has no plan. You are a media personality. You're not a politician. FBAs, for some reason, a lot of FBA hoteps, not everyone, but those who just be like someone like Dr. Umar Johnson, they just think that Africa is a playground. You can just walk in and do whatever you want. There's history behind it, civil war and conflict behind these nations. You can't just walk in and bring your nonsense from America and think you can claim whatever you like. You think just like the white supremacists, like we have no order, no system, no cultural customs, no respect. You just want to walk in and claim what you want. You deserve citizenship. For what? You go through the process just like everyone else, and you can speak to a lot of African Americans in Ghana, in South Africa. They've gone through the same process and they're living it life. They're living life in those countries. They brought their skills, they brought their businesses, and they are loved. There's complaints that they're treated more privileged than the actual locals. He himself, Tariq Nasheed himself, admitted that Africans are super nice, are super supportive of FBAs. And this is the reason to the title of this stream. There are two different types of FBAs that listen to his message. Those that travel, and when they hear him speak, they think it's all a load of nonsense. And those that don't. There's a reason why someone like Umar Johnson, as much as I disagree with him, also disagrees with Tariq. He travels a lot. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's seen. There are opportunities out there, and there are Africans willing to work with you. You have a privilege already that other black people outside your country respect you enough to show you support. But you are demanding even more. That's interesting.
And they were respectful, so it was what it was.
Okay.
Why do you think nobody over there in your homeland is really, really serious about Pan-Africanism and really reaching out to foundational Black Americans so that we can have an equitable relationship with each other?
Well, I mean, like out of the 54 countries, I can't speak for everybody, so I will just speak of what I know from my own. I know that they did have like a year return, like in 2019, in which they were kind of embracing just the whole diaspora to come to the country and things like that.
That was for us. That was for us to come over there and spend money. That was for us to come bring some tourism dollars. That was for us to come over there and do them slave dungeon tours and bring in a whole bunch of money for tourism, and then us go back home. So that year return bullshit, I wasn't with that. And truth be told, I'm not with going to them slave dungeons like that too. I've never had a desire.
The right to abode. Does he even know what that means? In Europe, in certain other countries in the West, just people are begging for that one residency. That phrase, the right to abode. That is an entitlement in itself. and Tariq looks down on it. The audacity. Shame on you, and shame on those of you who know the truth and still agree with him. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people that listen to him are ignorant to this, and I can't blame them. But that's a level of indoctrination that we should not allow to continue to fester. The right to abode is a problem. The right to abode, just to get the right to abode in Britain, for example, everyone's celebrating in that family, and he looks down on it. He wants complete citizenship. We don't know you, nigga. We don't know you, but we are offering you the right to abode, and you look down on it. Wow. I'm convinced that's how African Americans look at Africa. They do not look at Africa as like a continent filled with potential and just a vast amount of information to learn from in order to even contribute or to work your way into picking one of these countries. You guys actually see us as a trope. You've never really seen Africa as like a place that was overwhelmingly complex. That's the problem with Tariq and people that agree with him. You've never really understood your ancestral lands. You don't have to. You're not obliged to. But when you put yourself in a position to speak on the continent, be careful not to falsify what you say. And to be honest with you, a lot of Africans are misinformed themselves. And so the first platform or area to look for content may come from America. So even a lot of Africans are being miseducated by the so-called Pan-Africanists. Pan-Africanists like the Prince of Pan-Handlism. The Prince of Pan-Handlism. Wow. Yeah, like Umar Johnson. He gave himself an African name. Oh, that's great, but I don't think he knows I think his name is Ifatunde. Does he? I hope he knows the meaning to these names. That's Yoruba. I'm not sure if he knows the meaning to the names he uses, but as long as he has a connection to maybe the tribe that he got that name from, but just picking and choosing, and there's just that's my problem with this movement and what's led to. What's up, Mr. Clever Chief? Would you do video on Umar Johnson? This dude contradicts himself constantly. Oh my God. I've spoken about him on other streams, other people's platforms. I would consider it, but I just think that Umar Johnson is a meme in itself. But I've got a lot to say about him. I'll definitely look into it. Ifatunde. Yeah, check his full name. Umar Johnson renamed his, I think the account is his middle names, but it's Umar Ifatunde Babalawo or something. I'm going to look for it real quick. Umar Johnson's African names. He gave himself a bunch of names. Umar Rashad Ibn Abdullah Ifatunde Johnson. Ifatunde. I think it's the God is returned. That's my language, so let me double check what it means. Ifatunde meaning Ifatunde. I barely heard people name that in Nigeria anyway. Yeah, something to do with like the exalted has returned, or it's just like he puts himself on top, like he has returned. Like no one knows who you are. Yes, Ifa means God. God has returned. So he's calling himself God. And I've never really heard anyone, I don't think I've ever heard anyone named Ifatunde in my family or in my community. So that's a very huge ego, to say the least. Yeah, let me carry on with the stream. Thanks for you all for tuning in. I can see 12 people live right now. Maximum I've seen 15 today, but I'll carry on going. And if anyone is interested in having a discussion on it, sure, you can come up. I've left the link on the chat. Let me know what you think. But if not, we'll carry on with the commentary.
Not going to keep throwing money at folks, for them participating in the damn transatlantic slave trade. When are they going to make things right for real? You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, brother, turn your microphone on.
Oh, my fault. Nah, but I'm saying they already having their own issues themselves. They're being exploited by Asians. The Chinese people are there. I know, like, the biggest.
I'm gonna address that real quick, but yeah, Lady A says I'm so confused how Umar has an Islamic first name and a white man's last name. The plot thickens. It's Umar has to tick all the boxes. He has to make sure he has the Pan-Africanists on his side, the Muslims on his side, the American on his side. I think he has to claim Johnson because isn't he related to Frederick Douglass? And Douglas is an Western name, and that's his like a great uncle or something like that. So of course he's not going to let go of that name. He wants to attach himself to lineage.
Biggest like rebuttal that you have is just go fix your country. Right now I'm in my own predicament. Like I only.
The claim that I was gonna make a stream on this actually. The claim that Asians, Chinese are taking over the continent. That's not true. I'm gonna react to a video again, I think next week, to explain why it isn't true. It's boogeyman conspiracy that, again, African Americans are the ones who are circulating on their YouTube channels and social media. They can have your own views, but I have the truth with me. I do my research. Thank you, Lady A. I'm enjoying the commentary. Thank you. I don't want to sound like I just rant throughout this, so I would try and react and give my point of view on this topic because it's consistent, it's ongoing. I was ignoring it for a long time, months and months of scapegoating black foreigners, black British people, Africans. It's just the need to target and blame. Because white supremacy got too boring for Tariq, so he had to have it with something with more spice, more seasoning. Jollof Twitter. He's just ignore him.
When I do get the position to go back home, like I know where to start, I know where to go from. So it's definitely like a struggle that I'm familiar with. Even with all that being said, when it has to go with like with the year return and things like that, personally, it's just like I feel like there's a lot of West African countries that were apologetic for the slave trade, as compared to European powers that never said it like one thing. Even
all right. Your phone is messing up, brother. Your phone is messing up. But thank you for the call. Yeah, they were some more apologetic, but they ain't really, they ain't really reaching out. They're like, yeah, we apologize. Now come bring us some tourism dollars. That ain't good enough. Let's get this brother with the Moroccan flag on here. The AKA the Bay Tribe. Hop on, brother.
What's good, brother? How's everything?
I'm good, man. What's on your mind, sir?
Not much. No,
I still don't understand, again, when African Americans co-opt the Pan-African idealism. A lot of Black Americans claim the Moroccan flag. For some reason, they have some type of link to Morocco. The claim to the Moors. The Moors conquered parts of that region 500-600 years ago. No, sorry, 700 years ago. And for you to kind of hold on to that history, it's almost like the Hotep Egyptian history. It's like it's not going to get you anywhere. Morocco is a pretty much predominantly Berber, Arab-looking population. They have nothing to do with you. Most of them don't even like black people. So it's like, why are you claiming Morocco. It's the obsession. You know, I actually now appreciate the attempt to claim the Native American experience. The Native American, that they are the true Native Americans, and that's fine by me because they can play into that role, and there aren't that many actual Native Americans to refute them, so they can claim it. You know,
I came across your videos like back when I was like in middle school, back in 2012 ish. I seen how you were talking about the black people being in South America and things like that. The documentary,
Right.
Yeah, no, it was just very interesting, you know. But I'm always for educating the people. You know.
Right. Now are you part of the Moorish Science Temple?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, there's some things with the Moorish Science Temple, some things that are thorough. There's some things that
he tries to avoid insulting his own fellow FBA brothers for believing in nonsense, because that's what it is. Just somehow you just pick and choose. It's only FBAs would pick and choose which culture they claim. Like, they have no relations to the Moroccan people, the modern day Egyptian, but for some reason, you know, they can claim everything now. Native American, that's the entitlement and privilege that if FBAs can have. It's just to claim whatever sounds nice at the time. It's unfortunate that I have to roast this far, but I gotta roast. You come for my people, I'll expose your asses.
Expand on what you said. Hold on. If we wanted to be real funny style family, FBA family, we could start claiming reggae too, because they got it from us too. The roots of reggae came from here. But
claim reggae. You've claimed Afrobeat, so you've claimed everything we have. Then we can claim that we created hip hop. You can claim that, you know, we're what you are. So it's like, that's what the diaspora is. We exchange cultures. We influence each other, don't we? You can't refute that. But what is Tariq letting you know? Tariq is saying that FBAs created everything. FBAs are the originators of everything, and they should be on top. That's why I made a stream discussing how he wants us to bow down to FBAs. He wants us to submit to FBAs in the supporting role. It's like, how the audacity. You think there's a hierarchy. Tariq has created a hierarchy where his group, the Americans, are on top and everyone else is at the bottom, and we have to follow them. Over my dead body. I don't know you like that. I was supporting you from a distance, but I am not going to submit to your views, your mindset, your global perspective. Most of you don't even travel. So what do you know about the outside world? That's up to you to learn. But I'm not going under an ignorant group of people. But Tariq, wants to keep you butt broken and lost.
But we ain't even tripping on that. We'll give you your reggae. We ain't trying to take that from you. But if we really want to get technical, we can start pulling up interviews from some of the great reggae artists. Even Bob Marley was talking about the influence being FBA singers. Count Machuki and those dudes, they gave it up and said that they were listening to the FBA singers over here. Some of the first international reggae hits were by foundational Black Americans. If we want to
proving once again that we are the most connected diaspora in the world, musically, culturally, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if Tariq wants to continue to divide and make a distinction on who's who, then you're going to remain confused and lost. The rest of us are traveling. Other FBAs that, you know, want to build their skills in order to travel and connect with other Black people around the world, they're doing the best thing they could do. They call themselves passport bros. You know, SYSBM. You know, they're the ones traveling. What's this guy's name? I'm not very into his views, O'Shea Duke Jackson, but he's doing a lot of work around the world. He goes to Europe. He's been working in Poland. He's been working in Uganda. That's what you call Pan-Africanism. That's real action. None of all this, you know, preaching about nonsense and asking for donations to build a museum. How many museums do you need? You should be. Tariq has enough influence to encourage his people to build themselves up, be skilled laborers in whatever field they want to be into, and travel. Go away on vacation. Use your American passport. That's a privilege in itself. To know who you are to other people around the world. The opportunity is there. There's a large percentage of African Americans who already travel. Many who, in the beginning, it was mostly the military men who traveled, who had to be stationed in different countries. They were exposed to different cultures, and they've influenced the world. I remember learning last year that, actually learned it earlier on, but the Koreans, South Koreans, would have to, thank the African Americans who came in South Korea during the Korean War and influenced the way they fried chicken. They had to give them the accolades for it, and that couldn't come out unless African Americans traveled the world. You travel the world to level up. And social media has even connected us even more to collaborate. I've spoken to many American brothers who have always wondered, if they could travel to Europe, where they could go. And I've given them input. Make sure you try checking out France. France is a bit pricey with this. Amsterdam, Eastern Europe, UK, Ireland. I could give them input. You have intel all over the world because of the diaspora. That's your advantage outside of America. When you interact with foreign black people, even Tariq himself admits it. So what is this agenda all about, Tariq Nasheed? Do you want to keep people within the borders because you can't travel, right? Oh, poor baby.
I want to get punished. That's being FBA singers. Count McCukey. They gave brother, mute your mic, brother. Atuk. Well, let me get Atuk on. AB Atuk, turn your microphone on, brother.
Hear me?
Hello. Hey, brother, I can hear you. What's up, brother? Lord. AB? Brother AB.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine. Okay, I just want to comment on your. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Nigga, go ahead and say what you need to say, brother.
All right. So I just want to comment. I just want to speak on your comment about the Nigerian government banning the use of foreign models in our adverts.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Speak.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong in it. Besides, sometime in January, February this year, I think I listened to you talking about black people patronizing black businesses in the US. So if the Nigerian government decides to say, okay, foreign models you hold while we try to promote our local content, I don't see anything wrong in it. And besides, it wasn't really directed to the FBAs. It's a general thing. It's a general ban on foreign models. So I don't see anything wrong in it.
No, because y'all will still have white and Asian models all over the place on there. Y'all not about to ban them. They're talking about the women over here, man. Let's keep.
Oh my gosh, Tariq Nasheed, the one and only instigator, the one and only propagandist. Where does he get his information from? Can we fact check him right now? I'll fact check him right now. Because but he can get away with just saying this, and it's not a joke. People saying, "Hell, he's just joking around." You can't joke about this. You can't. This was posted a few hours ago. Already 17,000 views. The actual live show happened yesterday. He gets about 80,000 views a day. Okay, people are listening and will eat up the rubbish he says. I'm not gonna allow that to carry on. let me find out about the claim, because I already know, I've already read into it, but just to let, because some people need convincing with actual information in front of them. Nigerian commercial, foreign commercials, international commercials banned. Is only Tariq can get away with saying stuff and not fact checking at all, because everyone can listen to him, very informed, right? So I'm just going to read out for those who are just listening. I found an article explaining the situation. Nigeria becomes first country to ban foreign models in advertisement, right? Nigerian advertising regulators, and I think the focus is extreme for no reason. The whole point is to domesticate the market. So if you want to promote your product in Nigeria, use our models, our companies first. Nigeria's advertising regulator has announced a ban on using foreign models and voiceover actors in television commercials made in the country, not foreign Black African American models. Only Tariq can make it about himself. The move, which is the first of its kind, will take effect in October, follows the federal government's pledge that promises to develop local talent, drive inclusive economic growth, and promote the advertising industry in Nigeria. It's for a good cause. I was in Nigeria just 2 months ago, actually. And yeah, when it comes to advertisement, they have actually done a good job in promoting local models, local marketing companies. But a lot of the westernized posters might get more traction. And it's just that there's already enough poverty in the nation itself. Why give it the opportunities to foreign, markets when we have our own? The Nigerians are out to work. They need opportunities. What do you expect? But Tariq had to make it about himself, about his group, when it was literally foreign models and voiceover actors. Nothing says African American. And if he wants to prove that, then once this is by October, once it's been established, then he can show proof that they're still using white and Asian models. It's ridiculous how he can make it about himself. And y'all would eat it up. Y'all would eat this motherfucker up. Lord have mercy. 1 second, going back to the video.
Calls, thank you, brother. But yeah, I wanted to expand on what you were saying. Oh, hold on, brother. Hold on, Heath. If we wanted to be real funny style, family, FBA, we could start claiming reggae too, because they got it from us too.
It's a general thing. It's a general ban on foreign models. So I don't see anything wrong in it.
No, because y'all will still have white and Asian models all over the place on there. Y'all not about to ban them. They're talking about the women over here, man. They're talking about the women here. And if that's what y'all want to do, that's what you want to do. But when we do the same thing and say, hey, we want to focus on, FBA models, FBA people, y'all shouldn't cry foul, right?
Yes, but at the same time, I think why don't you, instead of assuming
exactly, this guy needs to double down and say that's a lie. You can't falsify claims like this. Don't make it about yourself and focus on the fact. Why do you think Nigerians need to target you? What the hell? Only Tariq can make it about himself.
Man, why don't you just wait until it gets to that point? Because the thing is taking effect from the 1st of October. The ban is taking effect from the 1st of October this year. So why don't you just hold on and see how it plays before you speculate? Because from what I hear you say, you were speculating. I think that's not supposed to be how it should.
So many of y'all love white people over there. Y'all are not about to ban no white people doing nothing. Let's be real, brother. You know that.
Tariq, I think you should hold on. You are speculating. Hold on, and let the ban take effect first before you make your own or make whatever statement that you want to make. I think you should hold on, because you're speculating, and somehow you're trying to just spill some things. You're trying to build up You're trying to spill something, and people will start reacting negatively.
Spill rhetoric, spill negativity, divisiveness. I thought it was the Africans who live in America that were dangerous, not the Africans in Africa. He can pick and choose the narrative whenever he wants. It's dangerous. He has a big following, 3,000 followers on Twitter. He is the most influential Hotep after Dr. Umar Johnson, but he's the type that divides. Divide to conquer. He's taken the tactic of the clan. It used to be colorism, light skin versus dark skin. Now it's ethnocentrism. The oldest book in the oldest chapter in the book, tribalism. Let's go.
From your statements, I think you should hold on until the ban takes effect. Then you can.
Is it
Yeah, you say, because I heard you say, oh, they're banning FBA. Say you said the ban is directed to the FBAs, and I think it's not true. No, it's a general ban for foreign, and besides, the truth is that ban is directed to not even black people. I'm telling you, like, the reason for this ban is not because of it's not because of the featuring of FBAs into our media system. It is not. I think most times it's just the use of white and all those white people in our ads. I think that's what is really causing this spark. So I think it's not an FBA thing. It's not.
I think so, brother. Because I don't think. But
okay.
Brother, all the skin bleach that y'all using over there, y'all, brother, your breathing is killing me, brother.
What I want foreign black people to do is to avoid explaining yourself, avoid defending who you are, because that's what Tariq wants you to do. Just to deny the vision he's creating. Stop doing it. Don't waste your energy. He wants that. Okay, he wants you to be in denial. Of course, you're in denial. You don't believe there's a deliberate intent to target African Americans. People aren't focused on African Americans in Africa. They're in poverty. Why would they care about you like that? Do not feed into it. Don't call up onto his show to defend yourself. He's already convinced, and he's convincing his own people that you hate them. But the FBAs that actually travel, that are very informed, know the truth. So don't worry about it. There is a subsect of people like him who want to remain ignorant or make sure they always have a scapegoat to complain about the issues in their community. Ignore them. Do not defend yourself. You know who you are. You're not an idiot. He wants you to be one.
Are you eating while you're talking? Why are you breathing so hard, sir? It's real disturbing.
I'm actually walking by the streets. Sorry.
Okay. What city are you in, brother?
Okay, I'm in Lagos.
Okay, so you're in Nigeria. Okay, all right.
Yes.
Okay. Let's slow down because the breathing is killing me. I don't know what you're doing, brother. Again, hey, if that's what y'all want to do, y'all just want to focus on your models. Hey, knock yourself out. That's great. And if we say the same thing, we just want to focus on people within our lineage getting certain opportunities. That should be fine too. Correct?
There's nothing wrong in it because I hear you say sometime that black people should patronize black businesses. There's nothing wrong in it.
Right. There you go. All right, brother. All right. Well, anyway, brother, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the call, brother. And you have a good day. Be safe out there in the street.
Well, Tariq won't tell you that he doesn't actually patronize black businesses. He patronizes the people that get the jobs. So he patronizes the black British people that take the acting role. He insults and targets the people that are foreign or black migrants when he should be targeting the African Americans, the FBAs that give them the jobs, that give them the position to speak on these things. That's what Nigerian is doing. They're confronting their own government to ensure local businesses thrive in the advertisement industry. But Tariq won't tell you that. That's what he wants African Americans to do. He wants you to target people who get the jobs. He wants you to target the small man who comes to the country to work. No, blame your government for allowing that to happen if that was the problem. If the problem is that Nigerians, Ghanaians are taking your HBCU programs, your scholarships, then don't blame them for taking the offer that you didn't pay attention to. Blame the government, blame the schools, blame the Hollywood directors for not doing so. Don't go on a rant on Twitter dragging celebrities, actors, scientists, scholars for having their own views. Blame the people that gave them the platform for it, since it wasn't a problem. But Tariq won't tell you that, because Tariq doesn't want you to focus on the problem. He wants you to focus on the individuals without the power. Because he's already convinced you, his fans, that your group is powerless. There's nothing you can do but make noise and march. So he wants you to attack the powerless. The powerless who just take the opportunities, when he should be attacking the black establishments that should have been making sure their own people, quote unquote, get the roles. But Tariq won't tell you that, because he's just saying that just to say that. This is content. The vision is what he fuels. He did that with the gender war back when he had Mac Lessons radio. He does that with all his YouTube beefs, with Tommy Sotomayor, with Umar Johnson, with so many different personalities online. Beefs. He gets more traffic when he's doing beefs, and this is what he's learned. Now he has to, because white supremacy is so powerful. There's nothing you can do. So let's find a group that have no say, have no understanding of this rift he created, and target them. It's the easiest thing to do. Easiest thing to do. I'll keep talking about this for as long as I can. You haven't seen the last of me.
All right. Thank you.
All right. That's our brother. He's like, be patient. I'm going to be patient. All right. Y'all ain't about to stop white women from getting in them ads. Y'all know good and well y'all ain't about to stop no white women from getting in them ads out there. Let's keep it a buck. All right. Let's get some of these other folks in here, because we got a lot of folks in here. Let's get Aaron the Misfit. Let's get Aaron the Misfit in here. All right. Aaron the Misfit. What's up, Aaron the Misfit? What's up, brother?
What's going on, brother? Hope everybody good. Just real quick.
We good, man.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick. You was talking about the Idris Elba situation. And it's a kind of a question I want to throw out there. First, I want to say is like Hollywood's doing like a representation thing, with black faces, but really it's like a congressional thing when it's not
your
like.
phone.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, your phone is going in and out, brother. Let me get somebody else. Let me get Vaughn. Hop on, Vaughn. Because I don't want to have to waste time with janky phones. Vaughn, what's up, brother? Turn your microphone on, Vaughn. All right. So Vaughn does not have it together. So let's get some other folks in here. Let's get Pressure Hamilton. All right, Pressure Hamilton. Hop on. All right, Pressure. Okay.
I guess he's not saying much.
Get it together. Okay, who we got?
Yeah,
what's up, Pressure?
Tariq Nasheed, it's an honor to speak to you. You've been a mentor to me my whole life.
There are a lot of so I want to have a discussion on another time, but a discussion on how there are a lot of non-FBAs who are fans of Tariq Nasheed and believe berating their own cultural identity would make, things you can fit in with the group if you can insult your own people. Because, I described that last stream, and people on background in order for you to accept them. So in order for them to submit to the FBA plight, right, and quote unquote support the FBA plight, you must berate your own people. So that's where it comes down, because that's indoctrination in itself, and that's something I might have fell into if I wasn't paying attention in geography or history class. I ain't that ignorant or ignorant. I have cousins in America. They're Nigerian Americans who were raised in America, and what I've noticed is the Americans who are from Africa tend to be less African than, let's say, the Africans in the UK or Europe, because there's this needs to be watered down as much as possible. So they come across as more Black American. There's a lot of Black Americans who people are surprised have an African or Caribbean background. And what do? They eventually admit that their family are Nigerian, but they won't claim Nigerian themselves. Maybe only recently because of the trend in Afrobeats and people being more proud of their background. But for a long time, there was almost a shame to even bring up that they're from another country. And so that's the discussion there. That I'm going to bring up another time, but it's a trend I'm seeing. We've got Darth Raven on the panel. Just going to let you on. What's good, Darth Raven?
Hello, the Duke. You all right? How you doing?
Hear me?
Yeah,
Good.
I can hear you.
All
Can you
good.
hear
Nice
me?
to hear from you.
Right. That's
Yes.
good.
Have you come across my channel before?
Just about today and all that stuff. But I've seen you on other panels.
Right.
I've seen you on other panels.
Thank you for tuning in, though. So, do you have any input on this topic? If you've seen, I've been ranting for a few hours.
I'm not gonna take too long. I'm not gonna be too long. I just got some remarks to make and all that stuff. With all these things going on, Tariq Nasheed, yeah, he used to be one with Pan-African. I don't know what it is, all that. But one thing I do know, what is apparent, the way he communicates to his audience, it's giving off an impression that African Americans is stupid or something. But that will be me generalizing, and I know that's not right. But if a lot of people are, because I clicked off and actually, you know what? Let me finally look at this Tariq Nasheed, because I keep hearing everybody talking about him all over the net. You understand? So I keep hearing, I say, let's see how much. So I clicked off from the show and went out to look at it. And I said the amount of stupidity, and I came back, just this video exactly. And I came back and say, man, he must really think these people are a bunch of idiots or all that stuff. So that really surprised me. That really surprised me. Like to listen to that level, to believe that level of inanity. But anyways, I have met other African Americans that they quite know the world better than that. But like it just goes to show like the level up, But one thing I can say ultimately is I always was speaking to one English guy and all that stuff. Said to him, Africa is going to change. We live in the information age and all that stuff, and all those secret dealings and all that stuff. A lot of stuff will become exposed. A lot of secret that will become exposed because everybody or someone knows a little secret somewhere else out there. So people are going to start to share a lot more information. And the English guy told me, well, yeah, that's true, but you better know there's also, with that information, there's also fake information. There's also fake news. So you will get a lot of people sharing fake news and a lot of people sharing the truth. So Africans have to discern in between all these stuff, what the truth is and all that stuff. So you do have agents like Tariq Nasheed. There was I think, a video of the United States saying how they were going to use some African Americans to kind of indoctrinate Africa towards their agenda or something like that. So some of these people are kind of agents of chaos, agents to show division and all that stuff. So, and that's what I've seen so far. And it's what the English guy said, yeah, it's proven to be true, because I was so happy that finally people are going to start talking about, going to start sharing information. I forgot about the fake information aspect of it. And that's what people like Tariq Nasheed are. And that's what a whole lot of people are. I'm not going to call names. It's just from the beginning momentum it had of, let's all work together and all that kind of stuff. It just completely turned into a conversation about division and all this. You know what I mean? But I don't know, for those who are still real and want to, as individuals or a group or collective, who are still real, who want to gain for themselves, if you have some black people, if you have a group that you can work with them. If you can do it individually and invest in Africa, work with yourself. Don't pass up an opportunity. It is still an opportunity, and everybody around the world is taking advantage of it. That's what I think. But you will see people like this sowing division, you know.
Absolutely. No, thank you so much for that input. I'm glad you came up to
I
explain
couldn't.
that because
I wish
overall,
I could find a
right?
way to. I wish I could find a way to express exactly what I'm saying, but sometimes I'm limited with words and all that kind of stuff. But ultimately,
Sure.
these are for to put it very simple and crude. They are definitely agents of chaos, agents that are being sponsored. But now people can say, that's too simplistic. You're being a bit too conspiratorial. But no. These that's what this guy particularly is, Tariq Nasheed.
Right. No, because last week I had a stream discussing this earlier on. I'll do a few more streams on this. And the one thing is that people want to claim that it's just entertainment. It's not that serious. It's just social media. But the thing is, you have these people in positions where they're very influential. You know, they could be social influencers, but now they're putting in money, donations from here to implement certain they're basically a voting bloc. Someone like Tariq can change the tides in terms of how people think. So this FBA movement was only recent, maybe the last 3-4 years. People have made it a thing. And the agenda has turned into such a divisive role. And you're absolutely right. I used to listen to Tariq when he had his Hidden Colors series. He had the Haiti Revolution documentary. He's done so much to sort of promote this Pan-African idea and connecting with Black people around the world, and now it's just turned into almost like there's a claim out there that the FBI got to him, right? And they give him a visit.
Yeah, that's not too far fetched. That's
They
not
give
too
him a
far fetched.
visit.
It's not even too far fetched that
mm-hmm.
it's not even too far fetched that they predicted how things were going to transpire in the coming years, and they prepared him for this role to gain that much trust and notoriety, and then completely turn it on its head. You know what I mean? So it's not too far fetched that this was all planned way ahead. You know, way ahead and all that stuff. That this was going to be the reaction when Africans start to gain any form of collaboration and to feel any sense that they should collaborate. You understand what I mean? Just add another wrench of division in there. Just throw in some salt and all that stuff, and watch them become tribal again. It's just as simple. You know, so I think it's not so far fetched what you said with the FBI. I think he was a plant from the beginning.
I wouldn't say that, but I do feel there was a moment things just pivoted to a different direction, and that moment was very strange. And I remember the times he even admitted being visited by FBI several times a year just to check on him. You know, him being banned from certain countries in Europe. You think the American government isn't paying attention to that? A lot of people who are social media influencers in politics are scrutinized and, you know, observed by Big Brother. You know, I've come across the right-wing people; they're being tracked down too. So it's you're absolutely right. I'm even more certain. It's not even conspiracy theory. More certain that it's his role. He's playing into a bigger schism. So I'm glad you gave me that input.
No, that's real, because like it's happening. Right, the thing is, it's also that's why you see the Chinese came with their own TikTok. You understand what I mean? It's all, we are in an age of information warfare. Information warfare that's going to win the hearts and minds of people across the world, or African peoples. And right now in the world, whichever nation has Africa's backing will have that. What's that word that American has? That soft power. That soft power. Exceptionalism.
Proxy influence. Yes.
Yeah, we'll have that exceptionalism. Whichever part of the world has it. So the Chinese are into it. You know, there was even a point where the internet was going to be divided in two, because the Chinese, since Europeans were not putting a lot of technology in Africa and they were holding back, the Chinese went in. So now internet was going to be divided. So of course Huawei is supposed to explode. So you have one side of internet controlled by China and one by. Obviously, that's not the case. We want Africans to be, you know. But this is the divide. You understand? This is the divide that's happening. So everybody, the Turkeys are out there trying to win Africans' minds and all that. So everybody's in an information warfare. So it is on to us Africans to start owning our own media. Like I'm speaking particularly to Africa itself. African countries need to own their own media as well. Like the Ethiopian president said, to have their own narratives, so that they don't allow just foreign media entities to just, because they will come with an agenda. And I think for these Tariq and Black Americans, I think what it does is kind of help instill more American patriotism to African Americans, because obviously they feel a bit pushed aside for so long. But now you see Africans starting to come together. We will not want them to reconnect with African Americans. So what can we do? Make them. So it's not a case of hating Africans. It's a case of making African Americans feel more American and be like, yeah, America first, America number one. You understand what I mean? So if Americans feel like that, whatever, if a lot of FBAs feel, yeah, they're proud American, that is going to be kind of quite a tough situation with Africa. Like that will justify the United States to just invade any African country when they want.
Absolutely. I was going to hit on that, and you fill in the gaps in stuff I was going to bring up actually. And the patriotism, I believe it's right for Black Americans to claim America. I was saying this years ago, how they should still have pride in the history, the culture they've built in Africa, in America, even if they feel connected to Africa. You can have both in a way. Like, yes, be proud of being American, but if you are willing to explore the diaspora, travel, meet other Black people, and even benefit from that. But this agenda, yes, the misinformation could be to completely isolate them to America, which is to their own detriment or benefit than, let's say, the African man.
Yeah.
As you said, Africa has potential. It's going to come up, and the fear is that people don't know which direction is going to take, right? And so Pan-Africanism was actually something like an Easter egg for the diaspora to maybe benefit from before any other group benefits from it. But now this division has caused this, okay, we don't want to associate with you anymore. We're going to either do it ourselves or rely on China, rely on, Turkey, wherever, like the Arab countries to claim influence over Africa. It's a war of information. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. So go on.
I was gonna say, did you hear the part where I discussed how Nigeria has banned international companies?
I heard that.
Promoting themselves.
When I
what do you
heard
think
that,
about that?
When I heard that, I straight away understood what that was about. You know what I mean? I didn't need to read more into the story and all that stuff. I didn't know the story that the other controversial bit that Buhari has set it up to be put into action right after he leaves and all that. Like, I remember tonight just saying that you see that's him running away from any backlash just in case there was and all that stuff.
Right.
But I see now. I think it's a good. I think it's long since coming. I think it's necessary that Africans, even though. Yeah, I think it's necessary that Africans start to take take actions like that as well. You understand what I mean? It's necessary for Nigerians to start representing themselves. Every country does. Every country represents their own people in their media, in their films, and they represent their own people as a sign of beauty. You know what? It instills confidence in people. I don't think I really need to say much to it as well. I think it's just a must, really.
As most people who are I agree. As most people like us who are informed, we get the process. But someone like Tariq is claiming that they're only doing it specifically for African Americans. They don't want African American artists. Like, where did he get this from? He can only do that.
No. It fits the agenda. It fits the agenda because you can listen right after that. Right after that, he kind of like you see how he just realized how can I tie what just happened right now to my message as well. You get me? And I think you just say like you see what they're doing. You know what I mean? They're banning African Americans, but they want to come and take us. So that was just a spur of the moment situation where he actually realized, this new information. How am I going to use this information to my own advantage? He just he's very quick, man. I suppose he's intelligent. He's funny as well and all that stuff. But the people that follow him that really makes me like, are you really that stupid?
They're consuming it. No, they're
Are they really
consuming
that
it.
stupid? Like, I always say, like, I always hear like Europeans say how stupid Americans are. You understand what I mean? So I never really, so and I said to I all throughout all these situations, I was like, so black Americans express the same stupidity that what white Americans
Yes.
express about the rest of the world. You understand what I mean? They have the same stupidity that white Americans express about the rest of the world. So the reason that is because these people they are programmed. They are programmed to be America number one, America number four. So the TV programs. I mean, every country does that. You understand what I mean? So if the TV programs you to be number one, proud American, America first, all that stuff, they take that message on board, and black Americans are not necessarily separate from that culture. You know, they watch the same TV program. They watch the same news, they watch the same thing, so they will have the same attitudes and view of the world. So that situation where you see where Americans have a savior complex towards Africa is the same savior complex African Americans have towards Africa. That Africa is nothing, is dirt poor, we're gonna come to save you and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Because you're here. So they have that warped view that the same white people have in America. You understand?
We don't need that
see,
mindset.
Yeah. That's why you see, as you said, them leading Pan-Africanism. That's why you see it's taken the effect it's taken without consideration of all the countries in between and the countries inside. So they come with a savior complex and they're very entitled. I'm coming to save you. Give me the fucking right.
May I ask you, Darth, one sec? What nationality? What's your ethnic background? Which
I'm
country?
Gambian, man. I'm Gambian.
Gambia. Nice to hear from you, bro. So thanks for tuning in as well. So would you say you've been sort of paying attention to sort of the Black American influence when it comes to Pan-Africanism? Have you been? Do you feel like you were informed?
I do participate in panel like African Millennials channel. I was in Mr. Uganda's channel, and I've participated in all those type of channels. Yours is just what I discovered today. So yes, I have been on the kind of bolstering of African people collaborating and all that stuff.
Right.
Pan-Africanism, I've been bolstering it as well, and I've been on rough debates, and obviously I can see what's happening now and all that stuff. But on the ground, it's different. So I have been bolstering it. But in terms of African Americans, necessarily, I see them part of it, but I have not focused too much on them. Really, to my only message to them is everybody around the world is taking advantage of the emerging continent. Everybody's participating in building up this emerging continent. It's not just Africans. Everybody around the world wants a piece of it, a piece of the cake. Why can't you guys take advantage of that situation as well? You understand me? That's my only message. I only visit.
Exactly.
Take advantage of that opportunity. You bring back the money to the United States. Europeans are doing it. Big European companies are doing it. Chinese companies are doing it. So African Americans could do it, and clever African Americans, business savvy African Americans
are doing it.
Taking advantage of it. You understand what I mean? So you got these idiots like Tariq who follow Tariq Nasheed. Well, they weren't really not gonna do anything anyways. I don't think if you're that stupid to believe that shit, then you really were not gonna do anything anyway. You know what I mean? So anyways, that's just besides the point. So I never really focused on African Americans, but and I don't intend to focus on African Americans because my form of Pan-Africanism is not really, I have it. There's African continental collaboration, and then there's Black unity or Black collaboration or Black, you understand what I mean? So pro-Blackness. So the pro-Blackness, I extend it towards all Black diaspora. You understand what I mean? But Pan-Africanism, I look at the African continents working together and trading a lot more with each other because that's going to help the continent. You know what I mean? I look at it economically. So my message has always been African countries to trade a lot more with each other and all that stuff, to trade with their neighbors and all that stuff. We need more integration that way,
Absolutely.
So it has to be like that because you kind of blur the message when you spread it out because you get all the different type of African. But no, Pan-Africanism. Why African Americans? Are they black? Pan-Africanism is just pro-black. It doesn't mean it's against honors and it's just all that. So I say, you know what? I just fucking want the African continent to trade with each other. That is a forward move. We want to, you know what I mean? So anyways.
That's it. It's as simple as that. Completely. Thanks for saying that as well. Myth Twist has just said, thanks for tuning in. He says that boy out there don't know about Darth Raven. Tell him to change his name on God. Is
What do you
that
mean?
like from a TV show or what's
No,
Darth
Darth Raven.
Raven?
Darth Raven is a character from Star Wars lore,
Oh,
and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so
bruh.
he obviously he was a Jedi that then turned into the dark side and then turned
Yeah.
back again and all that stuff. So that means he's a person that knows both the good and bad, the light and dark, duality and
Right.
all that stuff. So he doesn't believe the Jedi way is the only way forward. He believes there's times when you must embrace passion, not just be a stoic. You can't just be a stoic entirely. You must embrace passion and all that stuff. And sometimes using the dark side, like capitalism. There's capitalism. It sometimes it builds competition for innovation and all that stuff. And socialism is good. It keeps you in check and it helps everybody. So it's like duality, basically. The understanding
Wow.
the world is a
You're
duality.
preaching that Jedi science right there. I think Myth Twist, I think he can claim it for now. That's good, man. That's good. Yeah, thanks for tuning up. I'll still be on for like another hour. I just want to be able to get everyone's
I'm gonna
input.
eat my couscous with something anyway later.
Yay! Enjoy that. But I'll continue to react. You could just step back if you want. But yeah.
I started listening to you.
Thanks for Myth Twist. Thanks for tuning in. You said it's not Raven, it's Revan. Okay, Darth Revan, and he had Darth in his name. Why don't you know that's from Star Wars? Uncultured. Shake my head. I'm more of a Trekkie. All right, I'm more of a Star Trek fan. I'm into Star Wars, but not that deep into it. I feel it's like kind of overrated. But let's not go into that. Let's not go into that. Let me finish this video.
My senior year of high school.
Look at Tariq attacking one of our best actors in Europe, in the world, Idris Elba, just for roles. Look, the more they complain, the more I think we should take their roles because it's ridiculous. Don't complain to us. Complain to your black directors, Jordan Peele, Spike Lee, for giving the roles to us. It's none of my business. Go to your own people and complain.
I'm Haitian. I was born here though. I just want to give like my 2 cents on Italians and other groups trying to.
Oh yeah, and by the way, Italians are also claiming that they originated hip hop. I love it. Everyone up for grabs.
Hip-hop. I think, for one, a lot of groups are gonna do that because you gotta understand, like Black American culture is the #1 culture throughout the world. As a Haitian American, I can tell you that Haitians in Haiti look up to Black Americans, and other groups of people do look up to Black Americans a lot. And we see y'all as like the pedestal of where we should be and how we should maneuver. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always
real talk.
It's always, the legal immigrants who come here legally that are told to stay away from Black Americans. You know what I'm saying? The ones that can't get a visa, that are living in squalor, are the ones they never allow to come over here and have some type of economic freedom. A great way to control the narrative, I feel like, is to, just like you're doing, I feel like other Black Americans should do the same thing and start their own media, make sure that other groups know that, hey, we started this and we started that. Just like how you went to Haiti to give out and tell people about, your DVD, the 1804.
1804.
Literally not so long ago, this guy spoke on the Haitian Revolution. You made money out of talking about another group that isn't FBA. You should give them reparations, honestly.
Right. Like, yes, indeed. Thank you so much. I feel you, and I absolutely agree. We should control our own media and do our own thing and tell our own stories, because the dominant society, they're not going to do it. We have to clean up the lies that they're spreading.
Well, the thing is, let's keep it real. African Americans, you have control of your own media. You have control of your own stories. The mainstream is the mainstream, but you can talk on your own history and tell it to you. Like, we all know about this, you know? I can't name a black person who doesn't know about certain black directors or media platforms, the shade room, all this ratchetness. You guys created it. So this idea that you have no control over your media, yes, you do. Yes, you do. African Americans, you have control of your media. You have control of the influence you have on your culture and everything. Some may want to culturally appropriate and take this and that from it, but that's up to you. What you give out there, you know? Looking for another one. Yeah, this is the last time this one was on how, you know, the non-FBA, you know, Africans or Caribbeans that live in America and how they look down on young people, FBA youth, because they're more unruly, they're not as cultured, as in not as disciplined as their own. So it's like we can address that very easily. It's not hard to see the difference.
And I gave an example. I tried to engage them to get some help. I'm just looking for help seriously on a tip, because from the elementary level up to high school, this is what I'm fighting over here.
All right. Thank you so much, beloved. Let's get Joy in here.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up, brother? How are you? Am I pronouncing, is it Joy or Joye?
Oh, no, this is not my real name. I'm Haitian. My name is Kirby.
Okay, there you go, Kirby. What's on your mind?
Hey, man, I just want to elaborate on two things, man. Yo, man, I just went back from Haiti, bro. I went to a summer school. I saw your documentary. They the one who put me on about you, man. I appreciate a lot of people like you in Haiti, bro.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. They show my work in Haiti all over the place.
Yo, I really appreciate you. And the other thing is, one thing I want to let you guys know, you know what I mean? Like, when these Haitians come here, man, they do that. Like, they make me look bad at people who like you guys. And also, you see those same people that keep talking crap about y'all? They are a problem back home. When we're trying to do something back home, these are the same people who work against the white supremacists.
So see, that's the claim there. The sellouts, the coons in the whole other countries around the diaspora. So why is the focus on the non-FBAs that don't think like you or talk like you? Shame on you. Look, in the last maybe 1 year, 50 to 60% of Tariq's videos are on non-black, non-FBAs. Oh, this is a perfect video.
You ask a question, it will not allow me to actually answer the question, right? I'm saying every country will have that. Every country.
This video is titled "Non-FBA Man Told to Stay Away from Thugs in America."
Like, if African Americans or Black Americans,
does thug mean every African American or the ones that are unruly and dangerous? If my friend, a black friend of mine, wanted to visit Nigeria for a month, I'm going to tell him to avoid certain areas because people there are dangerous. Not every Nigerian can be trusted. People are desperate. They could rob you. Don't trust everyone you meet. That's the same lecture I get from my parents, my family. Don't go here. Don't go there. I love my people, but I can't trust everyone I come across. It's the same with you guys. Why are you pretending like you don't know the difference? Or is everyone a thug? Is everyone a gangster? Stop getting offended when other groups say we have to avoid the African American gangsters and the dangerous people in the dangerous communities. You're not all the same. So don't claim it as if you need to protect the thugs as well, unless you protect Pookie. Then that's the whole point. If that's your culture, to protect the people who are unruly and dangerous, then that's on you.
Americans had their own country. They would have a police force and they would have an army. So like so every state has that, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, wait. Hold on, brother. What's the hey family? This is Tariq. How y'all doing? I gotta address the part where dude was talking about how his family said, well, you stay away from the thugs and the gangsters. You would hear that from a lot of folks who come over here. They try to pretend that their parents just told them to stay away from a certain sector of black society. But what they don't tell you is that they look how
Tariq spins it all. He thinks he's slick. What is wrong? I just explained it to you guys. You can hear it word for word. I'm not making this up. Listen to what he says.
all of us as sector of black society. They try to pretend that their parents just told them to stay away from a certain sector of black society. But what they don't tell you is that they look at all of us as thugs and gangsters. That's what they're not telling.
That's a lie. That's ridiculous.
No, it ain't ridiculous.
That's not true.
Y'all sit over there talking about.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
They're all black people in colleges,
y'all sit
bro.
over there talking about all we do are we gangbangers and baby mamas. Y'all
that's
say
a lie.
That ain't a lie.
That's a lie. That's not true.
That's not a lie.
Bro, you have to be ignorant to know that we have over 45 million black people in America and they're all gangbangers. How is that even possible? Bro?
Because when y'all come over,
Tariq versus logical people. Tariq versus logical people. Do you think he's stupid? He knows what he's doing. He knows. He has African friends. He knows what he's doing. Don't fall for this
y'all
nonsense.
gravitate towards that narrative. This is why whenever yes you do.
No, we don't.
Yeah, when y'all come over here, y'all form these little gossip sites. All of these gossip sites are run by hold on, you're not gonna talk over me, Mbutu. Calm down. Calm your ass down.
Okay, great.
While I'm talking.
No, you came over here.
This is what I mean by stop trying to defend yourself. Stop trying to prove. No, we don't hate all of y'all. We don't hate all of y'all. See, most Africans do not believe this. But Tariq wants to convince you that we hate FBA. Again, parents of immigrant parents tell their kids to avoid certain people, to avoid gangsters, to avoid thugs. They did not say to avoid every African American. There are 45 million African Americans. There's no way you can avoid every black person you meet. Avoid the dangerous ones. If a friend or if I travel to Africa, travel to West Africa, I'm going to be told, avoid certain people. Not everyone can be trusted. Doesn't mean that you hate Nigerians. Doesn't mean that you're insulted by Africans. No, you just know how to maneuver in certain communities. Not everyone's a thug. Not everyone's a gangster. But avoid the ones that will cause trouble. It's as simple as that. Hey, nice to see you, Juju. Thanks for tuning in. Bouncing back. Yep. I'll try to be more consistent for you guys. These are good conversations. But yeah, like he's convincing you that thug is a code word for all black people. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. We are the new white supremacists. We don't know the difference between black people anymore. That's what he's saying. Non-FBAs don't know the difference anymore. We are white now.
That's Dogon. Calm down. All right. Like I said, these dudes come over here and they think all of us are thugs and gangbangers. So when they try to say that, well, we're just going to stay away from certain black folks.
He said it himself.
These dudes come over here and they think all of us are thugs and gangbangers.
Repeat again.
These dudes come over here and they think all of us are thugs and gangbangers.
Who actually believes that? A lot of them would. Trust me, a lot of them would. A lot of them would. Is it just entertainment, or are people actually believing this?
Well, we're just going to stay away from certain black folks. That's not true. Where are the progressive black folks that you're building with, then, if that's the case? I pointed out the other day in Brooklyn alone, the Haitians come over here and form their own churches. They got
literally Tariq Nasheed works with Africans and Caribbeans, like under his staff. All that he's been working with for about 13, 14 years. If he doesn't like us, then he could get an FBA to work for him. What the hell? Don't believe the hype, guys. This guy is a scam artist. He's a scam artist.
The churches that are Haitian churches in Brooklyn alone. Y'all come over here and differentiate yourself and distance.
Haitians built their own church? So are you telling me Haitians that English is their second language and they speak Creole French, create their own church that predominantly speak Creole French? The audacity. That's insulting. That's Tariq Nasheed.
Yourselves from us.
The same,
not just the thugs.
The same Tariq Nasheed that created the Haitian Revolution documentary series, talking about Haitians, and now he's insulting Haitians because they created their own church, speaking Creole French. That's insulting to him. What does he want them to do? Completely strip away their culture and become FBA and not even create their own churches? What does he want them to do? He wants them to bow down to him for creating such a documentary. He's the king of Pan-Africanism. You know how Umar Johnson is the prince of Pan-Africanism? Tariq wants his accolades from foreign black people. He wants them to bow down to him.
And gangsters. These are facts. If it's not a fact, where's the community in America where immigrants who are from Africa and the Caribbean are building anything with foundational Black Americans? Name it, please.
Okay, so you've asked your question out. I'm going to answer your question, right? You talk
And
about
no plebiscite babble. I asked you a specific question, sir. No plebiscite babble.
But bro, like yo, Tariq, you can ask your question, but you're not going to tell me how to answer your question.
I want you to answer it directly. I don't want you to.
That's like
you're not going to deflect.
Me. Like I respected you. No, I respected you. You actually made your point. Allow me to make my point. Stop interrupting when I'm talking.
You're not going to deflect, though, buddy. Answer the question and don't deflect,
bro. Oh, bro. Come on, this is not one of your spaces where you just talk over people and then remove people you don't like.
Oh yes, it is. Oh yes, it is. Oh yes, it is. Oh yeah, you better damn believe it is, because I'm the co-host of this thing. Mel made me the co-host. Right. I can get you up out of here just like a Postmates order. So yes, I am.
Look,
so answer the question.
Tariq is not looking for understanding. He's not looking for consideration or collaboration. He just wants to insult y'all. Insult your intelligence if you're an FBA, and insult your existence if you're non-FBA. He has no time and space for understanding. He doesn't want to come to the middle on anything. Can you see how he's berating someone this is on, I believe, Twitter Space or Clubhouse? Just berating the individual. No reason at all. No reason. Deflection.
All right, great. Like, okay. So here's what I'm gonna say, right? You were talking about Haitians coming to America and open up their own churches and stuff like that. Right? Well, even white people do it. When Irish people come over here to open Irish churches, Italians, like Polish, they all do it, bro. It's just natural that people from different backgrounds will have like religion. Watch it differently. We like to be in spaces where they're with people they're all familiar with.
Okay.
So like
that's our tribalism.
Okay. So that's cool.
America,
so you're saying that's okay. So that's cool, right?
Tariq makes it seem as if Haitian immigrants are doing something wrong for creating their churches in which they have to speak, they can speak their language and worship. You can tell that Tariq himself isn't a religious man, because this is logical. Like, I can't. I'm speechless. I'm actually speechless.
Right?
That's cool, bro. It's not.
Then why do y'all complain about? Then why do you complain about? Then why do you complain about foundational Black Americans differentiating ourselves?
I haven't complained about you. I haven't complained about you litigate and like trying to like have your own thing. I haven't complained about that. Ask them. If anyone here, like everybody can admit to that. That I haven't actually said that African Americans should be.
When is Tariq going to do his separation thing? Make organizations exclusively for FBA besides a museum? When is he going to address it himself? Like, why does he need to talk to foreign Black people to get their perception? Why can't he just do it? Why is the focus on how we think? Why can't he just build companies where it's exclusive for FBAs? I'm sorry, you don't have to be like, for example, Black churches around America, you don't have to write it's only for FBAs, and most of these Haitian churches aren't exclusive to Haitians. If you understand Haitian Creole, then go ahead, but majority of Black churches, predominantly Black HBCUs, were built for African Americans. So what is he talking about?
Should be forced or should identify with Africa or with any particular group of people outside of like America that are not African Americans. I don't care about that. That's not what I'm here to say. That's not why I'm here to actually argue, bro. I'm just saying, right?
So what's your point? Because you said something that was emphatically untrue, that y'all don't come over here and look at us as thugs and gangsters. Y'all look at all of us.
No, we don't.
But go ahead.
We don't say every African American is a thug, bro. Like there are African Americans who are not like engaging. Like most African Americans are not gang banging. I'll just say that. You know what I'm saying?
And
so,
what country are you from? Where are you from? You from Mali?
Yeah,
brother. Do you know how many child gangster soldiers are over there for y'all to even fix your mouth to talk about gangbangers?
Okay.
Good Lord.
And even there,
that's a hell.
So Tariq is saying you don't deserve to say you want to avoid gangsters because there are bad people in Africa as well. I don't even care about Tariq. I care about the people who felt the need to attack me for mentioning this. Like, you are a proud idiot. Seriously. People left their country that are more likely to be impoverished and dangerous, dangerous climate to live in, and blame that, oh, you have problems in your country. Why do you want to avoid our problems? We don't want the same problems. You don't want to leave the country you left to enter into more problems. What are you talking about, Tariq? It's just brain dead right now.
Even in my country, my parents would not want me to interact with people like that, bro. That's just the point. Like there are bad people everywhere. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
but
of course,
that's
I'm not
hell
going.
of a thing with all those kids running around there with machine guns.
I'm not saying gang banging is an American thing. No, it's not. You know what I mean? Like in the sense that like the blood and Crips and stuff like is American, but like gang banging and like people.
Here's the thing. I want people to realize this. Tariq has a background in associating with gangbangers. You see, the thing about certain people in African American community is that they promote unruliness and Pookieism. That's what I would call it. And this need to take pride in going to jail. Tariq is one of those guys. He places more respect on the thug and the hooligan than he would on the academics, because he himself apparently revealed recently that he dropped out of high school. He's actually been to prison before, but he's expunged his records, so he's like a regular citizen now. But he comes from that world, the street world. So to him, when you mention that you want to avoid criminal activities, it's a threat and an insult to him and his peers, because that's the people he resonates with. When we talk about the Hoteps, majority of them are street dudes. They're not academics. They are street dudes who get involved in criminal activity. Tariq is the type of person who respects the gangs. He respects the LA gangs that he's been associated with. He grew up with people who were in these environments, so he felt the need to be defensive. And that reminds me of the time when I made a video against like the Pookie culture, the gang fog exaltation of people who basically commit crime. And there were a few people who I've associated with on YouTube who were offended by that, directly offended by that. And I was really confused. Why would they be offended when I say we need to kind of like isolate or separate from the unruly hooligans? Like, we should not claim them. Black men who get involved in criminal activity, we should come off. People, these are other YouTubers that were offended when I said this. And I was very surprised, because then we would speak about promoting black excellence. So what type of black excellence do you want to promote? So if someone like Tariq gets offended when you say don't associate with the thugs and the gangsters, because that's what he kind of co-opted as, like, that's a part of him, that's a part of his culture, not African American culture. There are certain African Americans who believe that is part of their culture, and he's offended by it. He's offended. So that's what you want to be a part of, African Americans? Wow.
Killing each other is not uniquely American or Black American. It's something
right, but
it's happening all over the world.
But you see the irony. But you see the irony of those in your community who come from these areas where people are hacking off people's arms and kids are running around with machine guns talking about when we get over to America, let's stay away from the thugs. You know how funny how that sounds funny?
How does that? Why would that sound funny? You leave maybe a war-torn area. A lot of Africans come from war-torn countries. Why would they want to associate with more violence? Only Tariq can make that logical. Someone would listen to that and agree. Yeah, he has a big following. They agree.
No, it doesn't sound funny because if you are trying to get away from something like that, why would you come to America and actually want to interact with people?
There is nothing.
You're trying to get away from
nothing remotely close to what's going on over here. That's going on over
bro.
here. Nothing.
But are you?
See, Tariq is saying the violence in America can't even relate to the violence in Africa. Why does that even matter? Why would you want to normalize that? You're saying that there's nothing wrong in America. There are not certain neighborhoods that you shouldn't go to. He believes that's not true. The shootings, the gang-related activity, we shouldn't worry about that. What are you talking about? But he lives in a white neighborhood, though. Let's keep that real.
Are you saying that when Africans come to America, that you have to interact with gangsters and people who are engaging in gang activity because they want to blame them?
Umbutu, calm down. What gangsters do we have comparable to those child soldiers running around with machine guns?
But that's not the point I'm making. You're Tariq. What you're doing is you're trying to compare. Like you're saying, okay, so if people are killing people in Africa, if I do come to America, I should also interact. I shouldn't complain about people killing people in my neighborhood. What are you saying?
What neighborhood is comparative to those child soldiers and Boko Haram and all that stuff? There's no comparison.
That's not the point, though. That's not the point.
That is the point. There's no. You're trying to make it. You're trying to make it.
That's not the point. That's not
Damiano, calm down and don't talk over me.
No,
damn,
bro.
Damiano, calm down.
This man is condescending, egotistical, and not a narcissist. He takes pride in insulting other black folk. This isn't about entertainment here. You can hear the disdain in his voice. And I don't care. He's one individual, right? But what I do care about is his big growing following. And it's growing. And the guy that was on earlier, Darth, Darth, what was your Raven? Darth Raven. He was on earlier describing how there's a level of misinformation among Americans, and guys like Tariq are kind of like driving a new agenda. And this agenda among African Americans are those who are ignorant to the truth, ignorant to the information out there, the truth, like traveling, seeing the world, coming across and interacting with actual people. But if you're stuck in sort of the ignorance of the American way of life over here in Europe, in the rest of the world, they view Americans as very ignorant. They only know about themselves. Hey, you can know about America to an extent, but technically the rest of the world know more about you than you know about yourself. That's the problem. And Tariq is keeping you in that box, unfortunately. But continue to pay attention. Pay attention to where that's leading you. We've seen movements like this before, and they all fall apart, and everyone that's involved fall into that trap. Desolate and useless to society. I will spend another 10 minutes with you guys. If anyone wants to come up on the panel, have your debate, cuss me out if you want, that's fine. Or any discussions before I leave, let me know. I'll carry on with the reaction. This has been a good stream.
All right. It's not comparative. You understand what we're saying? It's not even comparative.
Okay. So what's the point? Are you saying that when
the
Africans
point is
come
y'all
to America,
the point is don't fix your lips talking about some thugs and gangsters over here, and y'all have a whole culture of civil war.
Only Africa has civil wars, right? America's never had a civil war and never had violence before. Never caused violence. Never dropped a bomb on anyone, right? Only Africa. He's playing into the same trope they've been playing into, the racists have been playing into. It's perfect. That's what the Black American identifies with, ignorance. And that's Tariq. But I know there are a lot of FBAs who aren't as ignorant.
Terrorists terrorist organizations that's completely
Tariq,
normalized.
your argument is actually flawed as fuck. You're not
How
making
is it
any
flawed,
good points.
sir?
It's flawed because you're saying that, oh, because this is happening in your country. If you do happen to come to America, don't you tell your children to stay away from people who are engaged in activities which are similar to what's happening in your country?
Well, that's not anything
What the
you
fuck?
have to
Like,
say.
that's
No,
kind of like really stupid to think that
it's
people
not
would not want to.
stupid because nobody wants to engage with thugs and gangsters in
Of course.
legitimate. Nobody does. So that's a given. That's something that you don't have to even say.
But you
So
have
the
to
fact,
say.
so the
What are
fact
you
that
talking
they
about?
stop
Especially when
it.
you happen to live in a neighborhood where these things are like, what gang activity is actually rampant. If it happens.
Yeah, we've heard enough of Tariq Nasheed for today. I'll be coming back to him another time. Well, let's hear what other people who've come across him, because Tariq is not just a social media personality. He's hitting the mainstream to some extent. He's been invited to news platforms before. He has represented and supported certain politicians. He has a voice. He's very influential. So let's not play this. Oh, he's nobody. He is somebody to someone, to a lot of people. Let's hear. This is Vlad TV interviewing academic.
I understand your point of view of like, okay, you may not agree with certain things that the person says, and I had Tariq Nasheed on my platform.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually a relatively good conversation, but it wasn't until maybe a couple months later I interviewed Tommy Sotomayor.
Yeah.
And Tariq Nasheed literally burst into the studio to like confront him.
Yeah.
And this whole situation just turned ugly and disrespectful. I'm like, yo, I give this dude a platform only for him to come and burst into my fucking studio because you got a beef with the dude I'm interviewing. And Tommy's saying I said him.
Vlad is discussing when Tariq confronted a guy named Tommy Sotomayor back in 2014 in Vlad's studios. Tariq has always been doing this for years, and he has just moved on from one discussion to another. And for you who fell for it, that's on you. That is on you. I don't want to get strike for playing this channel, so I'll leave it to that. So we've had a very good discussion on this. So my goal really is to play into the boogeyman that Tariq has created. I believe, yes, non-FBAs are here to come into America to dominate and take over and prevent you from getting your reparations, as Tariq says. Let's believe what he says and let's actually feed into it. So if you're non-FBA, if you're a foreign black person, keep playing into what Tariq asks you to do in order for it to make sense to his followers. And so I'm going to play that one clip before I leave, just to prove even more that black immigrants are the problem. We are the enemy. That's what you want to hear, right? As Paul Mooney would say,
once we take over, we take over.
And that's what non-FBAs are doing in America, right?
Why is it immigrants are not stopping reparations?
My ancestors come from the Caribbean, and there were slaves in the Caribbean, and we didn't
qualify for the American reparations.
Well, here's the challenge: there are so many difficulties with trying to enact reparations, in part because the question is who gets them. Potentially, I could fall into that category. I honestly have called a pipe dream in the past, and I think that's what it is.
Well, it would be nice if there was an elegant, simple solution to all sorts of complicated problems. You're not actually talking about how to fix those problems if you're only talking about reparations. If we're only debating how we're going to parcel out responsibility for something that happened more than a century ago. And we're probably never going to do this. It's not clear to me why we're pursuing this thing.
Is it fair that there's no reparations, no restitution, nothing?
Should the Irish get reparations, by the way? Irish need not apply signs when they came here during the progressive era. Sure. I mean, how far do we want to take this down? Are we acknowledging that there are ugly spots in history? Because 60% of the world would be entitled to slave reparations if you wanted to play that game.
Well, here's a fact. Slavery ended 154 years ago. It's been a long, long time since we had slavery in this country. And you have people like my family. I'm black, but my family came to the United States in 1962. My parents are from Costa Rica. Do I get a check?
I did a couple of essay contests that I actually won. And I won like NAACP Sowell Award for this essay and something else. I can't remember another, I ended up winning money. And the essay was, do you think black people should get reparations? And I was like, no, you didn't work for it.
Why are you so against reparations?
Valerie, it's a matter of a waste of time. We've got so much to do. And yet you have people who invest so much energy and attention on what I consider to be a dead-end idea, a dead-end movement.
So if non-FBAs are getting in the way of your fight and plight for reparations, then make sure you are seen as a separate group. That's it. I mean, where's the petition? Where's the movement going? Is Tariq focused on that, going to government and making sure FBAs are exclusively identified versus non-FBAs? Why isn't that? Before we even reach the conversation on reparations, why not implement this identity group? Why are we still talking amongst ourselves? Why are you still making conflict out of nothing? Go to your local government, go to your senator, and implement this identity label and leave us alone. Like, leave us alone. You know what I mean? Thank you so much for tuning in. Any last words, let me know before I drop off. Oh yes, authentic African American. Nice to see you again. I hope you're willing to troll if you want to come on the panel before I leave. But besides that, yeah, I did hear about that in California, but that's not enough, is it? It needs to be nationwide. You should make sure on your census that you will separate the Africans from the ADOS, the FBAs. Like, honestly, I actually mentioned this on my live stream just like last year on a panel, mentioning how they should have a separate census for like Nigerian, West Africans, Caribbean Americans. They have to have their own census group. They shouldn't be grouped in with African Americans, because we need to know how successful the Black immigrants are and not mix with the African American group, because then everyone gets confused. Like, for example, I have an uncle who has been labeled in the top 10 Black inventors in America, and he's Nigerian. You don't deserve to claim him. You shouldn't claim Obama. Obama is not FBA. You shouldn't claim Kamala Harris. All these Democrats that keep labeling them Black American, they are Black, but they are from a different ethnicity. You're not the same ethnicity. Have your own separate group. So California is not enough. This should be nationwide. Focus on that first. Stop targeting people on social media. Actually have these petitions and your marches and all this nonsense that you get things, mentioned in politics. Why is Tariq on Clubhouse? He should be creating this movement. Where is it going? Identify who's FBA and who's non-FBA and stop complaining, because that's all you've been doing, complaining. But anyway, good point to raise. Anything else? That was fine. This was a good stream. I'm going to have this discussion again probably next week. Different angle. There's always something to talk about, because Tariq makes sure to have on daily a discussion on how he disdains Africans and Caribbeans. Thanks for reminding us. I only felt the need to come on again because he attacked Black British people. I'm Black British. Why am I talking? Because he keeps talking. He has our name in his mouth. So we're going to talk the BS. He keeps talking about us. I'm going to talk about him. I'm willing to have a debate with him. I just don't know when he's on, but I would call up if I need to. But to be honest with you, the way he addresses people, he mutes them when they make a point. He kicks them off when they make a point. So I'm not going to play into that. But I definitely want to have a debate with him, a fair debate with him. But regardless, thank you all for tuning in. This was, I think, probably the largest amount of views I've had on the live stream. So thanks for tuning in again. Make sure to have an opportunity to come up. Thank you, Darth Rayvan, for coming on and giving your input. And so I'll make clips on this stream so you guys don't have to go through the whole thing, and I'll leave timestamps tomorrow. Thanks again. Peace out. This is the Duke back again. Boom. Actually, let me leave a link of Thomas Sowell before I leave off. All right, 1 second.
I'm trying to remember now. I believe it was in the mid-70s when substandard English began to become
yes.
Began to become viewed as a discipline of its own within linguistic
yes.
studies and so forth. And for all I know, it was all perfectly legitimate that certain speech patterns would be traced back to various regions in Africa and so forth. And this is a language of its own. It has its own validity. But your argument would be, I don't really care what its validity is. It's holding people back. It's preventing them from participating in the wider society. Is that right?
Absolutely. And also, none of these things went back to Africa.
Oh, is that so?
No. You can. Yes, they did not go back to Africa. If you look at the peace, for example, using the word axe for ask and stuff like that, all of that goes back to the South, and it goes back to the parts of Britain from which white Southerners came. So if you trace calling hog entrails chitlins, that was in a certain section of Britain, the section from which whites moved into the South, and they were known as rednecks and crackers in Britain in centuries past, before they ever set foot in the South. So the whole thing is as phony as the $3 bill.
In Intellectuals and Race, you cite an observation by the intelligence expert, IQ scientist James Flynn, that just stopped me cold. After the Second World War, you've got large numbers of American troops remaining in Germany. For that matter, there's still several tens of thousands there today. And both black and white American soldiers had children with German women. And Flynn discovered that those children growing up in Germany showed no IQ differences at all. The black kids and the white kids, the same. Professor Flynn concluded that the reason was that the offspring of black soldiers in Germany grew up in a nation with no black subculture, close quote. Which means what? Which means they experienced exactly the same expectations. Is this
No, the expectations are external. The culture in which they grew up was not the culture in which black kids grew up in America today.
So they had...
There's no gangster rap that was pervasively available in Germany.
So
why did he need a black director? Could a white director not have?
It's not color; it's culture.
Explain the difference, because I think we're
Steven
in a space
Spielberg
right
did Schindler's List. Martin Scorsese did Goodfellas, right? Steven Spielberg could direct Goodfellas. Martin Scorsese probably could have done a good job with Schindler's List, but there are cultural differences.
Are you saying that in a culturally pluralistic society such as America, are you saying that the variable in success or lack of success is the culture of the particular group?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And I'm saying it not only for the United States, but in terms of the studies of various other countries around the world, the same thing seems to be true. You not only find the same group having the same characteristics in country after the country. That is, the Germans produced the first pianos in Australia. They created the piano industry in the United States. They built the first pianos in England. They built the first pianos in Russia. You look at the Chinese, what they major in Malaysia in college is what they major in the United States in college.
Namely science and
Science and technology, heavily. And this follows the group around the world. So the notion that the group is a creature of society, that society has shaped the group, just will not.
Thank you all for tuning in. I'll be back again next week. I'll leave a scheduled clip. And I'm glad you all tuned in. Thank you again also in the chat for giving your input. I like healthy discourse, but if you want to roast, we can roast too. I'm ready for that. Okay? Peace out.
Well, I see the Duke in the chat. What's up?
I'm the G.
The Duke.
Yeah, I understand that there's some where the white women at, like Duke in it, but a lot.
Shout out to Duke from the UK, bro. Yep. Shout out to you, brother.
I follow the facts first and foremost. Tell that to your mother, man. We don't play around on this channel.